believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to America's Third Party. Welcome to Wasteful Wednesday. I'm David Sponheim. And if you're wondering where all the great ideas are coming from, you have arrived. I'm the person who came up with all of the ideas that Trump has been using for the past 2 or 3 years to win your vote. I'm the person who generated the idea to end war games with South Korea. I created the idea in 2009 on our show, and we're the ones that are promoting it. China reiterated what my idea was in a tweet to Trump about 2 years ago. But Trump finally rolled over and did it. And it's not going to cost us anything. In fact, it's going to save us money. But Kim Jong-un is heralding this as a big win for him. What did we get from Kim Jong-un? Well, that's the part that's kind of weird. We get everything. We get it all. We get all his nuclear weapons completely removed. Something not right about that. It's too good to be true. And when he tells everybody in his home country of North Korea that he's going to get rid of all the nuclear weapons, Kim Jong-un will be assassinated. I guarantee it. And I'm not going to do it because I would never hurt a person like that, even though he's a mass murderer. He will be killed by his own people. It's just a question of time before a coup takes him out of power. Nothing about this makes any sense. Fix the left side of my head. Okay. How's that? It's called a part. It sounds way too good to be true. Yeah. So we're dealing with a person who wanted to pull some sort of a solution out of his bag of tricks. Trump did. So he rapidly shuttled diplomacy, got a team over there, made a lot of our CIA operatives vulnerable. And thank you. And ultimately, we're now looking at Russia controlling this entire operation. It's no coincidence that Russia's Foreign Minister Lavrov met with Kim Jong-un right when Pompeo was trying to salvage the summit. He wanted Kim Jong-un to know that they will completely back him. And they will definitely provide support like S-400 supplies, the anti-ballistic missile system. I'm sure that was thrown out there because Russia offers that to everybody they want to control. So Kim Jong-un doesn't really have anything to worry about when he says he's going to denuclearize, as long as Russia gets what they want, which is a renewed view of Trump as a good guy, because that's their big thing. This entire dialogue is being framed by the Russians. They're the ones that wanted to destroy NATO and the European Union. Trump is doing just that. He's going against the G7, even wanted to suggest to the G7 that they acquire Russia and call it the G8. Trump couldn't be working for Russia any more than he already is and look any guiltier than he already is. He's unbelievable how guilty he looks. He won't impose sanctions against Russia, even though 99% of our Congress has said that they want sanctions. He won't execute that order. Russia is controlling the entire dialogue with North Korea. And you think that Trump is doing a good job. Trump didn't even describe how he's going to measure the North Koreans' removal of nuclear weapons. There's no mechanism in place. At least Obama had a mechanism with the sunset provisions with Iran to determine where they were at with their nuclear production of a nuclear missile, which they're allowed to create now. So if you stand around thinking that everything is great and Trump is doing such a good job, why don't you just stick a big dildo in your mouth and start talking to your family at the dinner table? Just pull a big dildo out of your pocket and stick it in your mouth and start talking. Because you're about as stupid as it gets. Standing there and supporting Trump and his mindless willingness to just reach out and help Kim Jong-un any way he can. No, this is how a person who has been censored for 9 years in the media talks to people who are chatters. No, it's not. I don't do decaf, Ken. There's no medicinal benefits from doing decaf. Ghost, why don't you just shove it up your ass? Yeah, because you really don't have a place here either. Yeah, you've been kind of a weird person in the room. You don't even belong here. Later. I don't know. I've never been around those kind of things. I heard about things like that. Hello? Hello? They say a missile emanated from this area right above our house, but I never saw it. So, yeah, it's all over the news. There was a launch seen from a remote camera right above our house, and we have no idea where it originated from. I know that the military helicopters were over our house today looking for launch pads, but I don't think there is one. All right, I got to go by. Wow, what a nutcase. I can't even believe that somebody would call me during the show, let alone say what she just said. I'm not angry, no. I'm just telling you this show has been censored for so long that it's not even funny. No, that's not my mother. My mother's dead, Ken. Yeah, this is what happens when you treat a person with disregard against all odds. You think I care about talking about somebody opening their mouth and shoving a dildo in it? Do you really think I'm worried about that? When I myself did a blackface video impersonating Barack Obama and was called a racist simply for impersonating Barack Obama in blackface? That's how moronic the Democrats are, that they don't even understand freedom of speech or satire. We're dealing with a bunch of unbelievable group of voters that shouldn't be voting. They are the ones that go to the ballot boxes or fill out their absentee ballots. They're the ones that submit it. The rest of you don't even vote. So we're really looking for the people that don't vote. Okay, they're censoring me big time over there. I'm going to go back up on Vaughn and see if that works. Refresh, everyone. I don't want to do an orange face. That would involve spray beta carotene on my face like Trump does. I'm not going to do that. I've read the studies of this carcinogenic aspects. The Democrats don't have any new ideas. All they got is they want to revive Barack Obama as a potential presidential first man. They think Obama would make a good first man. I think that's ridiculous. The big issue that I think we need to deal with is this Tucson gate, which is being ignored by the mayor of Tucson, who's a Rothschild. Jonathan Rothschild is mayor of Tucson. And there's a petition to investigate the encampment there. If you want to fill this out, it is available. Everyone wants to know where all the 1,500 kids that were missing at the border have gone, and nobody in Trump's cadre want to do it. So this petition could get it to be done. 99,000 signatures they're looking for by July 5th. So this is a tight framework to get the petition out there. Yeah, Trump is really going backwards in the way he's treating our allies, and having created a war of words with Trudeau was of no value at all. Well, according to this, the petition will be seen by the president if 98,803 signatures are in there. Trump has never been proactive about pedophiles. He's continually protecting his pedophile friend Jeffrey Epstein, who lives in a web of deceit with all kinds of connections to all kinds of weird things, including child prostitutes. So if you think this show should not discuss these issues and we should be like Reddit and Twitter and say, oh, well, we're banning the word Pizzagate. No, not going to happen. I believe that we need to get to the bottom of this, and the only way we can get to the bottom of this is expose it. Front forward. The network of conspirators that work behind the scenes to cover this. There's all kinds of stories that are being suppressed by the mainstream media. We don't want to be like that. Trump is a moron. He's a stupid idiot. There's nothing intelligent about him. He's a greedy, stupid idiot who will do anything and sell our country out from under us if it serves his personal purposes. Asset DJ took 8 months to get in the show. Look at this. Hey, Asset DJ, you know, so many people have been coming into our show unable to get in, and it took him 8 months to get in the show. And Eric says, you're right. Eric says Trump is just doing what Putin asks of him, been a good puppet and cheating, creating strife between the allies. So true, Eric. Good point. Hulamula says, I had to refresh vonlag.tv. Yeah. Yeah, it rains a lot where we are, yeah. So this investigation into the Tucson, we're going to call it Tucson Gate, is really front row center. They found a skull, and the police said that this skull is that of of an adult. But clearly it's half the size of the front of a foot of a standard boot. So it's not the skull of an adult, yet the Tucson police said it was the skull of an adult, so they won't send the cadaver dogs in to look for cadavers. They instead took bulldozers and bulldozed the entire area that they found a sex enslavement camp. Sorry, Noam, you can't talk about Clinton and her death count as it relates to me. Nobody can get to me. I'm completely protected. Well, it doesn't take a genius to realize that that was a real skull of a child. It doesn't take a genius to realize that Joe Biden, who's making a run for the presidency, it seems, in 2020, actually said these words to a 13-year-old, that you don't know how horny it made him feel.
All right, come on, slide.
Times when he gently rearranges a young girl's hair and whispers in her ear, then rearranges some more. There's the morning pervy here as he leans in for a kiss.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So he told a 13-year-old, you don't know how horny it makes him feel. And we have this on audio. And he actually thinks he's going to run for president. Can you believe this guy? Oh man, it's just bizarre, the liberties he takes. We have another video of him saying that, of someone saying that he's been creeping everybody out in Washington for some time. Yeah, the suit I picked up for 50 cents at the thrift store. It's a Pierre Balmain from Paris. It's worth a couple $1,000s, I understand. I didn't expect to have a suit like this in my life, so they say the suit makes the man. I never expected it, for 50 cents. You know, it was in the 50 cents rack. I was like, what? And somebody said you need to have it tailored because the shoulders are too. It cost $50 to tailor this. I'm not going to pay $50 to tailor this. I'll just get bigger. I'll start lifting weights again. Get back to my muscle building days when I worked out at World's Gym in Venice with the likes of Joe Gold. Yeah. I had a great time. You know, I was immersed in Venice, California when I was a young man, and living there in my van, literally at the beach for a couple of years, working every day, saving my money. I worked like 3 jobs during that time period at once, and just enjoyed the life of living in my van and saving tons of money. But what's really interesting is when you have an experience like that, it humbles you. It really does. And I got a chance to meet Joe Gold and others, people that, you know, created the Gold's Gym and all that. At one point, I was showering at World's Gym, and Joe Gold walks in, and he's showering there too. And it's like we're both showering in the gym, you know? Yeah. Yeah, I had a membership at World's Gym when it first started. He had to create World's Gym in order to make up for Gold's Gym because he sold Gold's Gym for a huge amount of money. I didn't watch him shower, and he didn't watch me shower. There was nothing weird about it. It was just we're both showering in the same shower. It's like, wow. He was a muscle builder at one time. No, I didn't grab any soap. No. The proverbial sayings about men in showers are not true. Well, it was a little strange in a YMCA one time. Yeah, I walked into a YMCA with a friend of mine in Hollywood. And there was somebody masturbating in the showers. It's like, we got to get out of here, man. We're leaving. Yeah. Democrats silent on Biden's creepy touching allegations he got naked in front of a female Secret Service agent. The Democrats won't talk about it. Well, the Democrats won't talk about anything. They won't talk about how Debbie Wasserman Schultz and her brother Steve Wasserman just rigged the Awan brothers investigation so that they'd have a plea agreement and this whole story goes away. No, we didn't make eye contact. When you're in a shower with somebody, you don't make eye contact and wink. That's not something that people do. As men in positions of power continue to fall like dominoes over allegations of various sexual misconduct, some men have managed to elude the media's microscope of their behavior. One of those men is former Vice President Joe Biden, whose creepy behavior around women and girls has raised eyebrows over the years. To be clear, Biden has not been accused by any woman of formal sexual misconduct. What he has been widely criticized for, however, is a creepy handling of women and young children, behavior that needs to be addressed as he's one of the Democratic presidential frontrunners for the 2020 election, along with Michelle and her first man, Barack. Don't kid yourself. That tranny is going to be outed every single time. And that's why I do play the video of Michelle Obama with her penis dancing between her legs. It's important. You don't see the penis, you see the outline of the penis juggling around. But that's important, we know that. What do you make of this? Let's see, we've got World News Daily. Monsanto CEO gets a well-deserved $600 million bonus for the last year. Doesn't surprise me. These are the people killing off our planet. And they get a lot of money for killing off our planet because the primary goal of the New World Order is to kill off our planet. So it doesn't surprise me he got a $600 million bonus. Yeah. Hugh Grant of Monsanto fame received a performance bonus of more than $600 million for the 2017 fiscal year. They're killing off the planet with genetically modified elements, organisms that have actually been proven to cause cancer in laboratory animals at a certain age. Yeah, talk about a smug face. Tell me about it. He looked like such a dick. Don't worry, be happy. You're right. We got stories about Tommy Robinson that popped up. Let me take that story real quick. UK's activist Tommy Robinson, who's merely discussing the dangers of grooming children for sex play by mullahs in the Islamic faith. He's been moved to maximum security prison with 71% Muslim population. So this is England's way of saying you don't have freedom of speech. There's no such thing as a free journalist in England. Yeah, so UK activist Tommy Robinson is going to be immersed in Muslims. This is a guy that's been openly out against the Sharia law being exercised in England, and he was arrested for virtually no reason. He was reporting on the trial of a child grooming gang and live streaming, and they accused him of breaching the peace. And he's going to serve 13 months suspended sentence. His notoriety and stance on Islam places his life in great danger in prison. Yeah, it's a death sentence for Tony. And this is an outrage. An absolute outrage. He's not guilty of anything. All he did was talk about children being groomed to be molested by mullahs. Okay, there's a big bike to work day coming up. Hashtag bike to work day. Why bike riding will destroy the environment. Oh. Not only do bike riders appear immature, but they hold on to the childish belief that routinely riding your bike is actually good for the environment. Here are 6 reasons why riding a bike is the worst for Mother Gaia. The BP oil spills have nothing on this. The emission fallacy. Yeah, there's no emissions. Okay. Well, you're consuming air. Okay. 2, bike riding consumes resources. They consume things that are harder to replace, like it takes months to grow kale, but a hot dog is grown instantly. You know, I think this is the most ridiculous story I've ever seen in my life. That's ridiculous. Santa Monica is now motorized scooter sharing. Well, oxygen is essential to our society, to our breathing, obviously. And I started a website called chemtrailparty.com, and you can go there right now and learn all about the chemtrails in our atmosphere. They're toxic, and there have been no peer-reviewed studies done. The oxygen is being depleted, basically blocking light for photosynthesis with chemicals in the air. And weather warfare is going on where droughts, hurricanes, and earthquakes are being perpetrated upon our society. Yeah. Chemtrailparty.com is a site I'm developing. The best part about it is the link page. It'll take you to the top level links out there on chemtrails. If you want to verify it to people and show them what you know, you can. We certainly want you to research this stuff on your own. And it's a central place you can go. Chemtrailparty.com is discussing the dangers of chemtrails, not celebrating chemtrails. I don't really check hits. I don't think you understand what I'm doing. I'm not interested in checking my hits on my sites. My suit's so big because it cost me 50 cents, and it's a size 50, and I'm a 47. That's why it's big. I'm a big guy, but I'm not a 50, so that's why. But it's a $2,000 suit I got for 50 cents. Does that explain anything to you? That's right. Teletransportation is the cheapest form of transporting your mind anywhere. There is no new hairstyle. This is how my hair sits the other way. Sometimes it sweeps this way, sometimes it sweeps that way. It's not really a big issue. The fact that you're so concerned about my hairstyle shows me that you're totally superficial and don't even have a substance that we would call awareness, which means you really shouldn't even be in the show. I'm afraid that without awareness, this show is kind of a non-issue for you. I don't need to justify anything I'm saying or doing other than to keep doing it. Now, if North Korea is going to lie and say they're going to get rid of nuclear weapons like they did all these years that this person has explained, Trump just gave up the war games on the border with North Korea, and war games with South Korea will be canceled, which was my idea back in 2009, by the way, 9 years ago. Kim Jong-un tells us what Trump gave away, and he's bragging about this. He believes this gives them the edge to have a conventional strike against South Korea by having no war games. It's the most mindless thing ever, but yet he is going to have to answer to the simple fact that he's going to get rid of all his nuclear weapons. Now, I predict Kim Jong-un will be assassinated within the next year by his own people. Stream is down again. Is the stream down? Explain that to me. Yes, 25 years that we're seeing some global climate change that Trump says denies is happening. There is no global climate change. It's all fake news. Well, explain this, Trump. Antarctica loses 3 trillion tons of ice in 25 years. It's shedding ice at an accelerating rate. This could push sea levels up by 0.6 millimeters annually, which could affect Florida, of course, and other cities and states along the way.
We didn't know very much about Antarctica and, in fact, Greenland as well before we had satellite measurements. And we now have a bunch of different techniques which we can use to examine whether the ice sheet is growing or shrinking. And that tells us whether it's contributing to sea level rise or not.
So tell me about those techniques, because you get...
Okay, we'll be looking at this later tonight in our show. We are going to analyze the climatic assessment of the Antarctica ice break. You're an internet creator, that's pretty funny. And you have a PhD in design from the University of England. Just because you have a PhD doesn't make you aware. Many of you who may have degrees in college, that actually works against your awareness level. We're awareifying the public, ATP. I'm tripartisan. I'm open to talking to both sides of the aisle and even the aisle itself. Hi, how you doing, aisle? The chlorofluorhydrocarbons are definitely causing cancer. Our country is doing nothing to stop that. They're lauding big, huge mega mergers with Bayer and Monsanto. No, Trump is doing the right thing when he copies me. He just doesn't know why he's copying me. He doesn't understand the background story behind my ideas. Trump is doing a good job of copying everything I say. I'm glad we ended the war games with South Korea. I've been talking about it for, like I said, 9 years. Well, I'll unban the guy, but I really don't understand why he's here. Yeah, he seems to have lost his way. Apparently my unban feature is not working. So whenever I ban people, I'm not able to unban him. Mark has taken away my unbanning capabilities. Okay, well, thank you. I'm glad you got back in the show. I'll never believe who you are. Well, who are you? You're jet lagged? Okay, then you must be a relative of mine. Okay. I have a relative flying around the country right now. Well, good. I'm glad you came in the show. David. Ghost created the bot that every room uses. I don't want to... look, at those bots are a little bit weird to me, frankly. I don't want a bot in my room. Thanks for liking my show. Well, I've been talking about issues related to our government spending for the past 9 years. And tonight's Wasteful Wednesday. No, you're not me. No. If we continue to spend recklessly like we are, and our rate of expenditure is like this. George W. Bush had overspent by about $350 billion a year. Barack Obama overspent by about almost $1 trillion a year. And then he got the spending under control during the sequester. But Trump has continued spending And he's doubled the spending on the military, authorizing a huge amount of money. And it's going to be $1 trillion we're going to be spending on our military. And we spend more on our military in America than all the other nations combined. So this reckless, wasteful spending is one of the reasons why I started America's Third Party, because I'm a fiscal conservative. I'm a social liberal too. And I believe that we're going to eventually have some level of sustainability in our economy where the government gets a return on investment and will not continue wasting money left and right to finance their ridiculous spending. No, since 2008. It'll be 2018. In August 16th, we'll have arrived at our 10-year mark. Planes give off harmful gases just flying, let alone what they're dumping in the atmosphere. But getting back to the wasteful spending of our country, we are on track right now for our GDP to not even meet the amount of money needed to pay the interest on our debt. Meanwhile, they're spending $10 billion a year of our tax dollars to dump chemicals on our head. Now, we know that they're using our tax dollars to spray these chemicals on our head because when we had a fiscal shutdown, they stopped spraying chemicals on our head. Everyone noticed they weren't doing any chemtrails during the fiscal shutdown of about a day and a half. So this is how ridiculous this is. We are paying for them to spray us like insects. 10 billion is a drop in the bucket for them, but they're way overspending. Yeah, well, you're welcome. I'm glad I can bring politics alive. You know, I really love politics. And I loved it so much that I was going to be a political science major in college, but I ran into a group of communists at UCLA. All my professors were Marxists. Every one of them. My nails are dirty because I was working with black silicone this week. And I'm still working on cleaning them. It costs a relatively small amount to spray you like an insect. 10 billion a year is not that much. Well, if you worked for Harry's wedding, then you probably worked for the fake Harry. The real Harry died last week, or 2 weeks ago. The guy wrote a book about how he was pulled out of his home in the Buckingham Palace at 8 years old and told he will never ever be in the family, and they replaced him with a guy who looked more like like Charles. But UCLA Marxist professors were the ones that pretty much told me that I could not get a degree in political science without sitting there listening to a bunch of Marxists on their soapbox tell me what is right and what is wrong. They told me that I had to listen to their ideas and only their ideas. And I told them to stick it up their ass. I said, I'm not going to go to UCLA. I'm not going to any college. If you're going to try to warp my mind into believing that the only way we can fix our economy is with some ancient philosophy called Marxism. And because I'm a genius, I don't need to worry about having a degree. I already have 185 IQ that's been tested. So I really could care less about a degree. My IQ is higher than Albert Einstein's. But what we're finding out that his travel diaries reveal that he was a racist. Wow, I did not know that. Newly published travel diaries have revealed Albert Einstein's racist and xenophobic views. In them, he makes sweeping and negative generalizations, for example, calling the Chinese industrious, filthy, obtuse people. Wow. And then he would later in life advocate for civil rights in the United States, calling racism a disease of white people. Wow, so he's racist against white people too. Thanks for that little tidbit of information. Yeah, I have to go to this location for my background. Oh, hi. David, in your show, we attend people with postgraduate doctorates, people of another level, and can benefit you. I don't think I'm ever going to benefit from the academic community. You're going to see everything I say as outlandish. I'm a complete original thinker. I'm a free thinker. Nothing about my statements have been tested in an academic setting. Sarah, on the other hand, she's going for her master's and she embraces academics. It didn't fit for me. It wasn't a good fit. When I was smarter than my own professors on every level and could defeat them in any argument, I didn't really have a place in college. All right, thank you very much, folks. We've got some stories that need attending. Kim Jong-un is claiming that ending war games is a big achievement, and he's been waiting since 1953 to do this, and he's really bragging about all the things he's done. Meanwhile, he hasn't told his own people that they're getting rid of all the nuclear weapons. That's been kept from his own people. So it makes me think one of two things. Either Kim Jong-un is not going to get rid of all of their weapons. Yeah, I defeated them every time I opened my mouth. They were squirming for answers. I could defeat anybody in an argument. When I went when I was the number one student in my high school class, I went into the chess club, and I said, and this is when I was a freshman. I was just starting out with straight A's. I went into the chess club, and I went up to the teacher. I said, "You want to play a game of chess?" And he stood right there, and I said, "Okay, let's play." I beat him in 5 moves. He turned red like a beet. The guy was so embarrassed, it was unbelievable. Can you imagine beating a chess club teacher in 5 moves? I mean, it was unbelievable. I used a classic Bobby Fischer opening, which I had studied. There's something wrong. Over 1,100 newborns die within 24 hours of birth in the USA each year. That's 50% more first-day deaths than all the other developed countries combined. And this child had the first dose of hepatitis B vaccine administered within 24 hours of birth. The death is coming from what we're injecting in these kids.
Is that by population, though?
I don't know. Memes are usually not really worked out. You know, they don't have a lot of backing. This meme looks really good. You know, Donald Trump stole the idea that we came up with in our show, which is record on YouTube. When he was trying to steal Ronald Reagan's statement, "Make America Great Again," I said, why don't we just say, "Keep America Great"? Well, we're going to have to give this to Donald Trump as his new thing for 2020. Make America more gooder. Exactly. Give me back my motto of "Keep America Great." Thank you. No, I don't play online chess anymore. You can understand, I gave up chess when I ended up having to play dirty against a relative of mine. This person started playing me chess. He's well renowned in my family as being a good chess player, and I took him on, and I had to get very aggressive because his method of playing chess was to take my pieces. And I thought, well, if you can't beat him, join him. So I started taking his pieces, and I prevailed in the match, which was nice. It's actually the last chess match I've ever played. I don't play chess with Sarah because I don't want to have a competitive environment.
The only time I played chess, or pretty much any game with David, I lost.
I don't want to beat people or even have to fight people in competitive means. I really don't like that level of competition. Thank you, but I don't need to play you. No, don't invite me anywhere. And go back to university and read your books, because you're not really cut out for this room, Aquam. Yeah, you're not on the same level we're at. Well, Ghost has not implemented any Python scripts for me on my site, so I don't consider him the genius of our site. Yeah, see, Trump stole this idea Ronald Reagan came up with. Let's make America great again. Ronald Reagan. Remember him? Yeah, this wasn't Trump's idea. Everything he does, Trump steals. He's only acquired his wealth from stealing. Well, let's just make America great again. Nancy's here. Could you get me my jelly beans, Nancy? I would love to have a jar of jelly beans. Oh, Don Reagan knows everything. I don't know anything. All right, I'm going to step out for a little bit. We've got lots of stuff to talk about tonight. Thank you. Take your Lamborghini and stick it, Aquam. We're not materialistic here. We're not like you. We're not ascribing to this world of money. If we were materialistic, Mark would have bought me off. That's right. Even Scissor Fight thinks you're full of it. Now, this is interesting. Sean Hannity is under federal investigation for connections to the Russian probe, according to a Democratic strategist. Now, remember, he said he did not have Michael Cohen as his attorney. But we know now that Michael Cohen was his attorney in a court case where Michael Cohen had to reveal that he had a client named Sean Hannity. He could be in some serious hot water with a new report that suggests that the Fox News host and close confidant of Trump is facing unspecified federal investigation. I don't know why Fox News didn't lose this guy and fire him like they did Bill O'Reilly. I mean, the allegations are worse about lying than Bill O'Reilly. I'd bring Bill O'Reilly back and fire Sean Hannity. Thank you, everybody. I'll be back. I'm going to make a little dinner. Enjoy talking to Sarah. She's a wonderful person, very calming, and pretty much the opposite of what I do in the show, which is a nice little balance, I think. It really adds a certain component of balance to our show.
Oh, I think I put it in the fridge.
Oh,
a
good.
couple,
Got some things.
were those deviled eggs from...
Oh, was there a little extra from the vegetable
And
platter?
I didn't bring the vegetables back yet,
Oh, they're still out there? Okay, great.
but I did bring some...
Because we're out of
deviled eggs
snap peas completely.
from the farmer's market.
Okay.
Or not a farmer's market, but somebody's home eggs, and
Okay.
some Swedish meatballs. Just
Oh.
enough for you
Okay, great. Were they,
in the fridge.
okay,
and
great.
I ate a little bit, so I'm good.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll be back, everybody. Love deviled eggs. So you have deviled eggs in there?
Yeah, they're in there.
Oh, I love deviled eggs.
They're from somebody's chickens.
No, Sarah's not going to play chess with you online. She's too busy working on her master's degree, Ghost. Wow. Do we have another Mad Dog here? Comcast launches a $65 billion bid for Fox, topping Disney's offer. That should be interesting. And Trump's personal attorney splits with his own legal team. Ex-Trump lawyer Cohen likely to cooperate as his attorneys lead the case. Well, this is a big move in the right direction. Wow. Okay, I didn't see this, but former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen is likely to cooperate as his attorneys lead the case. Remember how he said he would never turn against Mr. Trump? Well, it looks more and more like Michael Cohen knows what's good for him. Cohen, who voted for the President Obama in 2008, officially registered as a Republican after Trump was elected, but this guy is not exactly ready to stand up for Mr. Trump. If it means turning on him, so be it. So Trump may be facing a package of criminal charges from Mueller, including ones generated from Michael Cohen's testimony. Manafort may flip too. And if they both flip, Trump is basically in hot water, will probably have to resign. Just to give you guys heads up of what's coming.
I'm just stuck on this. Oh, never mind.
What do you need?
Nothing.
Okay. All right. Now, many people will want to talk about this conspiracy theory that Anthony Bourdain's death is not a suicide. It's a Mossad murder. We'll get to that tonight. Anthony Bourdain and his girlfriend, Asia Argento, were very openly against Harvey Weinstein. And we know that Harvey Weinstein hired the Black Cube, Mossad detective agency. There may be some connections here. Thank you. Yeah, Mueller might have to flip too. Wall flip.
All right. Okay, Ghost has a trivia bot that can replace me. David would just have to put up a picture of me while he goes to make coffee. That way I can rest more. To make it more realistic, though, you need to make 2 weeks worth of videos where you talk, but only speak abstractly. And David could play those at random. Oh, okay. So I should I start now with my 2 weeks of video? And not actually respond to anyone in the chat, just talk about my life in general. I did eat the Unburger. It was actually tasty. It was way more delicious than it looked. Well, at first I was thinking some kind of horse, but I think it's... Then I'm thinking a dragon. I don't know. What is that picture of? Scissor fight. Sarah, do you always wear glasses? Here is me without glasses. But I can't see anything, but I can smile. And be like, I have no idea what's going on. And then here's me with glasses. You like the heart necklace? It ties in with my whole hair and face. Whoa. And you like the, I love my haircut. It's like, I feel like this is the perfect length for my hair. I know, sorry, Hula Mula. Hear about this, I'll stare at you with my glasses on. Is that just as creepy? I don't think I can get fancy contacts because they claim, well, one guy gave me these super strong prescriptions and then he claimed like my prescription was too, oh, and no, they say that I can't get contacts because of the shape of my eyeball or something like that. Cyber Jedi is not Ghost, is he? They're not the same people. Yeah, I didn't think so. Hi, Sarah. How's Fort David? I like living here. Everything's good. Everything's awesome. Oh, yes, I think I would need toric lenses. I'm so used to wearing glasses, I don't know how I would feel about putting something in my eye. I don't like water sprayed on my face. I don't like things sprayed on my face, so I don't think I would like wearing contacts after all. Your eyes dry out really quickly with contacts? Yeah, I think I would just feel weird with something in it. Yes. It's nearing the end of the year. Don't worry, be happy. My friend was so funny. Something like all the teachers and students are counting down the last days of school. And my friend sent an email. 82 days until school starts again. Next year. Sarah, what was the worst job I've done? Does it count if I didn't get paid for it, but it was one of the worst things I've done? Everything I've gotten paid for, I didn't feel like it was a bad job. So I liked all my jobs. Oh, contacts are pain putting glass contacts in and taking them out. So you went to glasses really quickly. Yeah, I mean, There's certain days sometimes where I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to work. But there's other days where I'm like, man, I get paid to do this. It's awesome. And that's doing the same job both of those times. So, no, I don't really have a bad day for at least for what I get paid for. I did quit a job once because I felt like I wasn't valued. Besides more college, I wouldn't mind working in the garden some more, Misanthropy. Oh, you had to put leaflets in people's houses and then you got chased by dogs? What is the method that you found to not get bitten by dogs if they chase you? Even if they chase you? Yeah, I know. I find that odd because it comes so naturally to me. Don't worry, be happy about not everyone can be a good teacher. Because I feel like I am a good teacher. I like being in the classroom. I like teaching as many kids as I possibly can. It's really good. And students respond well to me, and it's a good feeling. Some kids just need, desire, crave constant attention. You squat, sit down, do nothing, stay calm, don't run. Oh, you pretend to be dead? Okay. The maximum kids, our state puts a cap. I think it's 28 kids for the most part. Or at least our district puts a cap, one or the other. And then they can go over the cap, but our union has kind of negotiated that if they go over that 28 kids, then they have to pay you an extra amount of money. Wow. Thanks. I opened it up, Misanthropy. It's among one of his many tabs. It worked. You were chased by a big Rottweiler, but you squatted and sat down and pretended to be dead. Wow. Oh, okay, Rex. Yeah. Actually, Hula Mula, I do not like little dogs at all. I always feel like they're gonna go after your, like, Achilles tendon, bite that off, and then you have to fall over because you can't stand and support yourself, and then they go after your jugular, and then, yeah, it's horrible. A father of two nearly died after being bitten by a rattlesnake's severed head. Wow. I don't need to farm weeds. I need to farm food. Okay, so a lady was weeding her garden in Corpus Christi, Texas, and she reached down to grab a clump of grass that was grown by one of her flowers, and she almost grabbed a rattlesnake. So she called out to her husband, who ran over with a shovel. He rammed the shovel into the animal, decapitating it. And so since they said, well, the animal's head is separated from its body, it's probably okay. So the father reached down to throw away the animal's remains 10 minutes after he killed it, and the snake, the head of the snake, sunk its fangs into his fingers. Wow. Only 2 miles down the road, he was going in and out of consciousness and having seizures. Medical personnel, she pulled over, she was calling 911, and medical personnel just said, wait where you are, we'll be right there. And they when they got there, they rushed him to a helicopter. They flew him to a different hospital. He went into septic shock. Doctors placed him in a medically induced coma. Oh my God. Wow. The doctor told him it was a very grim scenario because of the amount of venom he got. He had 26 doses of anti-venom. Wow, that is amazing. Thank you, Dark Engine, for sharing that story. Good night. Don't worry, be happy. I love your username. There's an experiment done to see if dogs would protect their owners. Thieves in blacked out clothes started to pretend to attack the owner, and then most of the dogs just ran away. Huh, that's interesting.
When a masked intruder kicks down a door in Minneapolis, these two pooches take off. And in a home outside Philadelphia, this dog runs away after a burglar hurls a plate at it. So, would your dog come to your defense if a burglar ever broke in? This is Perry, a 5-year-old yellow lab.
Oh,
That's interesting. Oh no, I just closed out of the chat. Sarah. Why did you do that? Okay. All right. You're allergic to your cat, but you like your cat? Okay. I did save your video, Hula Mula, but I closed out of the chat and now I'm back. Yeah, I'm not into dogs licking my face. Yeah, exactly, Drumstick. Hello, Lou. I can't show the video to the right now, but we can show it later after David's official recording. How are you, Lou? I'm doing well. So is today Wednesday? Yes, it is. So I officially have 1 week left of school and the last day is so One more week, I can make it. David's making the leftovers from it, the rice and things like that. And I have something planned every day. I'm like busy, busy, busy. The 260 says, the Department of Justice is taking a hard look at Hillary Clinton's clearly illegal use of homebrew email server. Good. That's not good, Reptoid. Why? You were so upset that you had to leave school? That's a bad boy. Very bad boy. I do like Mexican food. Oh, yes, I do. I don't know what Lana is. A million viewers, maybe? I don't know. I'm liking my own midsection. Especially lately. Yes, exactly. It's an exciting time, summertime. I am doing stretches in my chair. Why not, Misanthropy? We can all do that. Oh, it's starting. It's kicking in for my workout yesterday.
So you had dinner. You don't want any dinner?
I had little finger food, and I think I feel
a little bit of chicken for you. I'm gonna have some of the meatballs, but
well. I think I feel
you're fit. You're
fine.
content? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had too much sugar.
Oh, okay.
So at least I cut. I went to this baby shower, and of course they had cake, but fortunately I like scraped the icing off the cake. There's still a lot of sugar in that. And then I had 2 cookies and some banana bread. The banana bread was pretty good. You like the piece I'm projecting tonight. Thank you. What are you talking about, 190? Oh, the chat is laggy. I'm sorry it took you so long to get in, 596. I guess we're getting censored over at iVlog as well. No, David's getting in shape too. I know CrossFit is all the rage. I'm not into CrossFit. No, it's way too much running around and lifting weights and all that. Too much work for me. I don't think I ever envision myself doing CrossFit. But I have been working out with a couple friends, and what we've been doing lately is those body balls, and I really enjoy that. It works your core, all your core, which is really good. That makes me. I have not tried marijuana, no. I don't want to try marijuana. I'll say no thank you. I have tried alcohol, and I'll say no thank you to that too. I don't need anything like that. I mean, I know I like sugar, but I'm working on saying no to that too. So, I'm working on it. Well, there aren't trillions of people in the US, so hundreds of thousands? Well, the thing is, my parents tried marijuana and I already have that in my, I think I have the hippie genes. Yes, I have heard that big hug. Sugar increases the aging process. What kind of cakes do I like? I like cakes that have whipped cream, not buttercream, and not, yeah, and definitely not fondant. Fondant is my least favorite. You're in good shape, but when someone asks you if you work out, you're like, you giggle. I would say I work out. But I do. Just about an hour each week, maybe an hour and a half. Half an hour a day, every other day, something like that. The second one, meat guy. Genes. Genes. Meth? What? I don't know if Dolphin mobile browser loads iVlog. Find out and let me know. You're part of the developer team for the DVR systems? Oh wait, Ghost says yes. That's what you're answering. Ghost says yes about the Dolphin browser, maybe? I don't know. DVR scam baiting. Okay. I am not the only child. I have a lot of siblings. David is not the only child. He has a few siblings, but there is an age gap between David and his older siblings. So he mostly had his parents, and it was mostly just himself and his parents at home because of the age gap, even though he does have siblings. Who's the most successful out of my siblings? Well, that's a tough question because all of my siblings are really successful. My dad comes over and he starts bragging about all of my siblings. So like my brother is one step away from being like CEO of or could potentially become CEO of a hospital. He's a occupational therapist. I have another brother who does really well. Yeah. My sisters, they're all in leadership positions at their respective places of employment. That's just how my family is. We're hard workers. That's David's like, wow, you guys are hard. You guys have a big time work ethic. And that's pretty true. Oh, your passion fruit is flowering. Wow, what a beautiful flower. That is a gorgeous flower. Passion fruit. Oh, okay. 20 passion fruit flowers, nice. Yeah, but it was more about work after high school and so actually a few of my most successful siblings went to kind of alternative high schools and didn't graduate. One actually graduated with her GED or got her GED later in life rather than graduating because she went to an alternative high school and got her GED because she was had pregnancy during high school. But I think it's more about working afterwards. Oh, they smell like citrus? That's very cool.
The support page.
Okay, now look on the top left side of the page. Do you see a tiny yellow question mark?
Yes.
Click on it.
Okay.
Now what do you see?
I see restore, minimize, close, jump to URL.
Click on jump to URL.
Wait, why was is there a reason I was looking at the DVR thing? To one ding. Passion fruit. I bet those are really good. I've never tried dragon fruit. I've always wanted to try that, but I wonder if there's a lot of seeds inside and how that would taste. I was a little stunned watching that DVR show. Oh, you also do have dragon fruit? That's very cool. Are you the gardener, or is someone else, is their wife do the gardening, or do you guys both work together? Some people that's very cool, Scissor Fight. Some people like driving trucks for a living. They like being on the road and seeing different things, but you know, the thing is that I would hope that they take time and actually, if they really like traveling, they would do a load, take a day, look at the area, tour the area, look at different historic sites, and then take the next job. But they don't do that. They usually just work, which is difficult. Chauncey the Gardener. Isn't it? Oh, was it? What is that called? Is it called Chauncey the Gardener? Maybe it is. I know, you don't get to see your family, no girlfriend, no life, a lot of truckers. I know, that is true, Hula Mula. That is cool. Huh. Map to multiplication. Isn't it amazing how it always ends up with stars and pentagons in there? Composites and primes. as a self-organized system. I'm going to save this. How can I save this? Save image as map to multiplication. I don't want it in conspiracy. I don't want it in show. Maybe. I want it in pictures and then I'll just put it in pictures and call it map to multiplication. Thanks. That was very cool. I like that. I'll have to take some time to look at it. Lou, that is very cool. Where did you get it? Oh, Being There. Thanks, Rex. Yeah. You met the writer of Being There? He was nuttier than you? That's funny. Ooh. Dragon fruit flower. Oh, that's pretty too. Wow. Look at that plant. It looks like a cactus. Is it like a cactus? You don't remember where you got that map to multiplication from? Okay. Is it just the picture, or do you have like the original book or something like that? It is like a cactus? That is very cool. I don't think it would get warm enough here to grow a dragon fruit. But we've got lots of, we do import a lot of fruits and vegetables. Oh, the picture, okay. Yeah, I'll have to study that. That was very cool, Lou. Thanks for sharing. Okay, look at the... Oh, how cool is that? The bee is pollinating it. Aww. Whoa, look how big that is. That is so cool, that dragon fruit. It's interesting how it has like two flowers, almost. Or the stamen. The stamen is really big. Wow, that is very cool. So pretty. Dragon fruit honey. Do you think you guys would be interested in starting a beehive? A friend of mine raises bees. You like vegetables more than fruit? That's good. I'll just stick to talking to you, Hula Mula. Yeah, what are you referring to, Ken Ryan? Oh, right. That's a good point, Scissor Fight. Never mind. You tried? People are scared of having a hive on the roof. Yeah, I know. A lot of people are really afraid of bees. Oh, yes. Yeah, sure, it is sad. Some religions don't believe in that, Ken Ryan. Like the, forgot. There was one that, the church, Anglican church, I think. One of them broke off from a church because they believed women could be teachers, preachers.
Preachers of habit.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Rex.
Okay. I am back on duty. On chat duty. Hey.
I feel it.
Oh, you have your... So you really worked your body, huh, today?
Yesterday. It always kicks in like not like the next day. It doesn't kick in until like at least a day and a half, 2 days into it, and then your body starts to like...
Oh, yeah. Repair. And that's when you build muscle.
And that's when you go back and exercise some more.
Yeah.
Every 2 days. Oh goodness.
Yeah, it's a tough thing when you decide to challenge your body and the aches and pains come in. I was working on that black silicone so hard that I still have, it's a week later and I'm still like, I bruised my muscle in my hand.
And this is my hand. I had that in here for like a month or two after when I worked on that deck.
Oh yeah, I know.
That's why I kind of don't even I'm not looking forward to finishing the back deck, but I will.
I know. No, I wouldn't do it. We're just going to have to keep sanding, I think. Sanding will eventually take down. David is getting fat as hell. What? That's a bannable offense, dude. I keep my weight at 225 pounds.
Yeah, you do look great, David.
I maintain it at all times.
Can you give us some pictures of dragon fruit flower and passion fruit?
Dragon fruit
and
flower.
You can scroll up and down because there's many of the pictures.
So you have a dragon fruit flower.
Show it to the people. So.
Okay, dragon fruit flower, everyone. Take a look.
The passion fruit flower is really pretty.
Oh, passion fruit too. Look at passion fruit. Oh, very nice. Very beautiful. Oh, very nice. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We try to appreciate nature, what's left of it, before it's all terminated, desecrated. I'm not trying to sound Japanese. I'm just trying to respond to beautiful things in a way that is colloquially appropriate to my particular location. So we got buzzed by military helicopters here in the area. I think they're wondering what the heck that really was in the sky. I'm beginning to believe that they don't even know what happened. There was a missile launch from somewhere in my area. You can now search for addresses across 750 million years of Earth's history. Well, that's great. Enter an address to view it in the globe. Okay. There was a place in Crete that I always used to go to. My chromosomes, of course, predate me. I remember that place in Crete. Let's see if we can find it. Main Street, Crete. No, doesn't exist. Main Street, there's no Crete. There's a Crete, North Dakota. Okay, let's try Greece. There's an East Main Street, El Cajon, California, a Greek chicken place. Huh. That's a really cool, a utility like that is invaluable. I mean, and plus the Earth's rotating on all the time. It's kind of a nice feature, I'm going to remember this. I'll never forget it. This one moment in life. Russia says no sex. Russian lawmaker warns sex foreigners, World Cup, another race worse. No sex in Russia. If you're a homosexual, you're not invited to Russia. Yep. They did not allow homosexuals. And many of you Republicans are probably very appreciative of that. That's why I think many of you Republicans are becoming Russians. No audio? Huh. There's a live event going on here called Deaver. I don't need to be in there. All right. Researching the Earth. A trillion tons of, yes. Right, we got a 10-minute video to play later tonight about climactic changes in the Earth. All right, good. Well, things got kind of messed up here on the Vaughn channel. Picked up a lot of links. Hi, DT. No audio. No audio still? Audio's fine, yeah. They're trolling me. Time Pilot says no audio. Audio is up on my end. There is sound. Audio is up. You need to plug in your speakers. military object over Washington State wasn't a missile launch. Well, it sure looked like a missile launch. What do you think it was? A satellite looking down? Okay. Weather camera on an island caught this. The object was spotted. It's definitely not a missile launch. A professor of atmospheric sciences said, speculated the object looks like a missile. I've seen a lot of stuff, Cliff Mass, professor said, but nothing like this. Oh, it's definitely not a missile. Okay, well, yeah, I saw another picture of it that looked like a missile. So it was probably just my home planet of Andromeda was checking in to make sure I was completely in tune. No, I'm kidding. I don't believe I come from another galaxy far, far away. It was a directed energy or actual solid object. I think they were attempting to contact me. Whoever they are. So let's talk about the solid facts about Anthony Bourdain's murder. Yes, it's not a suicide. It's a Mossad murder, according to GoDizzen. GoDizzen.com. G-O-O Dizzen. There's Asia Argento, his girlfriend of Anthony Bourdain, who was accused movie mogul Harvey Weinstein of rape and has since become one of the most vocal victims. Harvey Weinstein confessed, and Mossad, the infamous state assassin of Israel, apologized for intimidating victims of Weinstein. At the same time, Anthony Bourdain has a remarkable history criticizing the Zionist regime, meaning he is an enemy of Israel. This leads us to wonder, was Anthony Bourdain murdered for humanizing Palestinians? And he said himself, the world has visited many terrible things on the Palestinian people, none more shameful than robbing them of their basic humanity. Anthony Bourdain. True. His speech at the MPAC Media Awards. Yep, so that likely possibility really is revolving around her. I hope she's got protection, because she seems like a pivotal character in this. Yeah. Harvey Weinstein used an ex-Mossad Israeli agent to spy on actresses and journalists. That's right. He had the Black Cube, an organization that secretly spies and gathers data on people using their highly capable means. Mossad is at the very pulse of data collection. The link is here. GoDizzen. Here you go. Thank you for coming in, Lou. There it is, Lou. Yeah, it looked like a directed energy beam aimed somewhere at my head. I'm not going to take it personal. I don't think that missile thing looked anything like anything other than, well, just what I said. But I don't think it was me that they were looking for. I mean, I live right under that beam. Chelsea Clinton stands online, bullies comparing Howdy Doody. Oh, yeah. Chelsea was compared to Howdy Doody by a bunch of online bullies, she's saying. And she's saying Howdy Doody was a good guy. He cared about animals and people. She enjoyed it. Just a week after killing a Twitter troll with kindness after he insulted her physical appearance, Chelsea Clinton is having to fend off more online bullies. An anonymous Twitter account posted a photo of Chelsea Clinton with a face of Howdy Doody, the freckled marionette puppet who had his own children's TV series. Show over Clinton's face, the former first daughter responding with a message. Thanking the troll and drawing attention to Howdy Doody's own experience in standing up to bullies. Yay. Thanks to Richard and all the people on Twitter have compared me to Howdy Doody. I know a bit about him, including that he stood up to bullies and believed in being kind to animals. I'm also happy, blah, blah, blah. Thousands of fans praise Clinton for her dignified response. And now more accusations are coming out. You know, I think they should have made a big deal about the fact that she's tweeting openly with the Church of Satan. What difference at this point does it make? You think Hillary's in charge here? You know, she loves her daughter. And I think that, you know, you got to understand they're grooming her for politics. I think it's great. The problem is, tweeting the Church of Satan stands up in my mind as a little bit more than you sounding or looking like Howdy Doody. Okay, Chelsea? Yeah, why are you tweeting with the Church of Satan? Answer that one, please. You think she's kind of hot? Well, some people find Howdy Doody kind of hot, too. What is going on here? Another take on Anthony Bourdain.
Hey guys,
Proves Bourdain's suicide is a hoax.
Well, you know, just when I
Johnny
whenever I
Supertramp.
watch the video, I find more information that just reinforces what I'm trying to say. And boy, look what I found here.
Speak up, Johnny.
I should have done my due diligence and research this a little more deeply. But you know, Anthony Bourdain posted the song to his Hong Kong show on June 3rd, the anniversary of David Carradine's suicide by asphyxia, which she keeps pointing to. And guess what? Well, I looked at that song. I looked at the research, the roots of that song. House of the Rising Sun is a really old song.
All right, we'll look at this a little bit later. It sounds like a fun approach, you know. I'm not sure what he's saying, but it sounds fun and fancy-free. Could the Asia Argento Harvey Weinstein connection have led to Bourdain's death? I don't know. I do not know. I don't know the answers to that. I'm not sure if people dying of suicide by hanging can be blamed on one particular group or another. I think that what we really need to do is get some media verification in here, because I don't think we even have photographs of any of the suicidings by hangings, any of the bodies. In fact, I can truly say that there's not one single photograph of any of the suicide by hangings in the past 5 years, Robin Williams included. Nobody shows their feet. The most critical element in an investigation is to see whether their feet are touching the ground. Now, this is not what I'm referring to. This is a puppet on a string. This is a guy doing the shoe shining of a very rich man. But what I am concerned about is the simple fact that we don't have any crime scene photographs from any of these. I mean, we know that Robin Williams' wife was in the house for 15 hours and didn't report his death. That's suspicious. And then she went on public tour writing a book about it recently, which is another suspicious thing. I mean, you should be in mourning, not writing a book. It's not like she needs any money. That's a little suspicious. I mean, "Milady doth protest too much" comes to mind. And then, of course, David Carradine's crime scene photographs. Keith Carradine did a $30,000 investigation into his brother's death, and he found out that it was a homicide. But no government officials in America have pursued that. They say that David Carradine was talking about child endangerment, human trafficking. He was investigating it in Bangkok. We do know that Anthony Bourdain was very vocally supportive of Palestinians and their plight, and he was anti-Zionist. What the hell is wrong with you, Buzz Kielman? Because we're trying to figure out what you're saying. Yeah, because you're kind of killing our buzz here. Donald Trump picks a fight with Justin Trudeau and didn't even mention his eyebrow falling off. I mean, who's going to say that makes no sense? I mean, at least Donald should have said, "Justin, your eyebrow is falling off. Can you just see your eyebrow? It's falling off." At least he would make sense. Instead, Donald Trump continues to lie about America having a deficit with Canada. He even admitted he lied when he made that up, and then he's going with a lie now that he still intends to prove that somehow Canada has a deficit with the U.S., which it doesn't. Because he said, "You have a deficit with us." Well, we need an honest person in the White House, one who's completely transparent and will tell you everything that's going on. And I'm not filtering anything that I talk about in the show. Everything is above board. Everything is completely out in the open. I touch on subjects that no other political candidate will even broach every night on a daily basis. So if you want somebody to address the issues of the day
just so we know,
and give you constant communication, I'll be the guy, and I'll tell you we're in the thick of it, and I'll tell you how we are. So if you want that transparent president you wanted with Obama and didn't get, when he wouldn't even release the guest list for the White House, I'm going to be a candidate for a top office in the United States government soon, Buzz. Yeah, I'll be applying for the role of, well, I'll put it out there, President of the United States. Every single cycle I go through this. And yeah, it will be a concern to me that...
That's, 45 minutes, foosball? How entertaining is foosball? She said the way to describe them was like they were acting in a play. All giggly and very unnatural, ha ha ha, skipped out, went back behind the curtain. Around 9...
Okay, we've got this wonderful person who's done a lot of background research on the Comet Pizza store. And she actually spotted this photograph in her video. I spotted it here, and I was like, why do they have big cages that would house humans in the Comet Pizza store? Nobody's been able to explain that to me. She was describing a game these kids were playing on this hockey machine, this foosball machine. And she noticed that they were Slavic Russians, didn't speak English, the two children. And they were playing the game, and it looked like they were very, very... well, she's a wonderful person. She does excellent work. I'll play her video later. But yeah, she exposed the picture of this cages in the Comet Pizza store, so we don't have a chance to talk about. Dave, to lock up alcohol? No, I'm not going to lock up alcohol. Oh, you're saying that they use those cages to lock up alcohol? Yeah, but there is no alcohol in those cages. And there's no shelves on them. The whole body could sit in there. I don't believe it. Usually put that in the room behind the foosball machine, where they keep the supplies for the pizza. Anyway, I'm not going to give up investigating all these different things when I'm president. So consider opening an investigation into the Clinton Foundation, their Haitian connections, and the alleged human trafficking. That would include Pizzagate. That's just one investigation we'll be opening up. 2 would be, of course, this guy and all the Russian involvement that's led to what we have today, which is a disaster. And then 3, of course, we'll have to investigate the Obamas and their fraud issue. But then going back, we also have a 4th and a 5th investigation, 9/11 and the JFK assassination. All of that has to be front forward in American politics. We have to be able to talk about these things, because right now nobody can talk about any of it. And all we're doing is dealing with this nonsense coming out of Trump's mouth about how he's going to come up with some great plan with North Korea, which every single decade, North Korea promises to get rid of their nuclear weapons. So Kim Jong-un is simply following in his parents' footsteps. It's amazing. All of these offers have been on the table for them to denuclearize. They always agree. This has been happening time and time again throughout history. So I'm not really excited about this effort, but I can tell you that it does bring us closer to the possibility that there will be peace of some kind. I just don't know if it'll come as a result of Donald Trump. Misty's room hopping. You're tracking her. That's not cool, David Spawnham. Yeah. You're not making any sense, Buzz. Are you really high or something? Oh, we've covered Bourdain. There's a lot to talk about with Anthony Bourdain. We have a nonstop discussion of the Russian involvement in making this whole thing happen. It was very important that you know that Russia preceded Trump's visit. They already cleared the way for Kim Jong-un to do whatever Trump said. They want Trump to be elevated to a higher level because they know that the gavel is coming down on Trump with criminal charges coming from Manafort. His testimony probably will be the one that will seal the deal, but we now know that Michael Cohen is ready to flip. He's fired all his attorneys. It looks like he's ready to just start being his own attorney, which is a perfect example of flipping. But Lavrov was there visiting Kim Jong-un the day before and, working out the deals. They want to prop Donald up because they know that we are pretty much on their ass with all this information gathering that Mueller has done. Did David know that was Mad Dog that he banned earlier? Oh, who was that? What was his name? What name was he going by? Melko, what are you saying? You just got yourself kicked, man. I don't even know why you're in the show. You know, I think I'll just go back to being Hillary or being Chelsea, either one. You know, this could be like the transgender hour of Wasteful Wednesday. Big Nothing Burger. The Manafort thing is working really well. He's about ready to flip. They got Manafort on. They have Manafort on all kinds of different areas. He's going to tell the truth about the Russian money laundering, or he'll face 300 years in jail. Ha ha ha. Hang on, I got my face in there. Okay. So, what do you guys want to talk about? My aspirations to become a president? I look like Jackie Lee. Oh, really? Oh, how nice. Okay, I'm fielding questions for my new presidency. Oh my God. No, Rudy Giuliani is the biggest crock of walking shit that ever came into existence. He looks like he's constipated. He looks like he's about 4 bowel movements behind schedule. Yeah, I'm telling you, Giuliani is the worst element in Donald Trump's array of lawyers. And they're dropping like flies. He had to go to Giuliani because nobody wanted to take Donald Trump's case. And all Giuliani does is run his mouth off. You know what Giuliani said? He said that Kim Jong-un came begging on his hands and knees to do this deal. Well, Kim Jong-un is back home bragging about how he succeeded in stopping the war games with the South Koreans. He's not mentioning anything about denuclearization to his people that I know of. That's some sort of a U.S. read. Yep. You've got those reptilian eyes. You've got... So you really think that reptilians exist? You want to talk about that? Because you're wasting my time, and I love it. I love it when you waste my time. So Donald Trump, are you doing a good job on Mr. Putin's shoes? You work a little harder, because he's got $200 billion. You only have 3, Donald. You're a pauper. I was talking about Donald Trump couldn't even shine Putin's shoes. That's why this guy made this picture, so it's kind of cool. Are we done there? All right. Yeah, I don't want to keep bringing up the fact that Trump is simply a puppet for Putin, but I have to because many of you don't even understand it. You don't even get it. All right, here's my new song and a little music and background to boost my new song, which I think is important.
Here we go again. Here we go again.
Been there, done that. There's nothing new to it. I felt this rush before. And as we have reached it, the peak of everything, we're falling like rocks when you decided to. Been there, done that. There's nothing new to it. I felt this rush before. And as we have reached it, the peak of everything, we're falling like rocks when you decided to. Been there, done that. There's nothing new to it. I felt this rush before. Woo, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yowza. I cannot stand looking at Chelsea Clinton any longer. It's freaking me out. I gotta take this picture off the screen. I mean, completely off my computer. It's just that who cares? This howdy doody thing is so irrelevant. I was called howdy doody back in the early days, you know? If this is what she thinks is getting trolled on the internet is, geez, that was like Troll 101 back in 2010. I was referred to as Howdy Doody at least 20, 30 times in the show because people acted like I was some sort of a clown or something, and they didn't take me seriously. Can you imagine that? I can't imagine anyone not taking me seriously. The treatment of women is important. The Me Too generation, this is Wednesday, let's touch on it. Rather, let's not touch on it because then they'll be accused of groping. Let's grope on it. Let's not grope on it. People who have to sell their souls to the higher bidder, doing sex acts for Harvey Weinstein in order to move up the ladder of acting. It's a sad and difficult reality that the people that we know as stars are oftentimes whores. And many of you don't even realize that Clark Gable was a man whore. He had at least 5 or 6 madams that propped him to fame. When people first met Clark Gable, they looked at him and they said, well, we don't see a guy who's a really great looking guy. We see a guy who, well, this is the guy that you probably seen in Gone with the Wind, the famous Clark Gable. I mean, everybody sees this guy and they go, wow, good looking man. Yeah, amazing. He could have gone anywhere. He had that winning look, you know? And then you realize that, well, not really. His real picture showed the worst teeth anyone could ever have. That is really his smile. He had horrible teeth, but being he was a man whore, and ears like Dumbo, yeah. Being he was a man whore, he was able to get fake teeth back in the day when they were expensive and they weren't cheap like they are now. So he changed into a whole different person. And then his career started. Frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn. Frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn. But he was a great actor, and he started as a man whore. So most of the people don't realize that most of your great actors were man whores. You just have to deal with that. Now, the female whores that have become great actresses, they're now complaining and claiming that they had a Me Too encounter with Harvey Weinstein. And they're not whores, they're just women. I've never had to prostitute myself once, and technically I'm completely censored, so I'm not a star. I'm a worldwide sensation, but I'm not a star. Match confirmed. You cannot make anything off my big forehead. My intelligence circulates around this area of my brain. This would be like almost impossible for you to get near. I am emanating circadian rhythms and all kinds of weird vibes everywhere I go. Yeah, people look at me. Today I walked around in the area that I live, and they were looking at me. And I couldn't understand why. It's because, well, for one, I was wearing my jacket inside out. So I was like, dude, you can't even wear your jacket right, man. So I finally realized that they were looking at me because I had my collar tucked in. But no, I think that the fact that there are women and men that prostitute themselves to become actors and actresses has to be addressed side by side with the Me Too movement, because I think the case against Harvey Weinstein is going forward and we're going to have to find out more. And I think I'm glad, because there are a lot of people that are misusing their power, and that shouldn't be happening in Hollywood. And you shouldn't have to be a whore in order to become an actress or an actor in Hollywood. You took a shot and it didn't take? Okay, I'm sorry for you. Don't take another shot, because alcohol is not agreeing with you. No, I'm not afraid of directed energy beams vaporizing me, but now that I saw that picture, I'm beginning to wonder. It could have been I was wondering why there was this big carbonized spot outside my neighborhood. I said, Sarah, did somebody burn a hole in our deck? And she said, yeah, I think that was my dad. He left a cigarette there. I'm beginning to wonder if it wasn't a directed energy beam. Harvey was a little out of line with the rape charges. Well, the fact is, Harvey did this over and over again. He did the same routine. He'd come out of his bedroom with his towel on and his penis hanging out. And the women could decide whether they were going to get angry at him. He knew right then they were going to get angry at him, or they were going to say, what do you want me to do? No, my deck is made from hard wood. That's why I found it kind of weird that there was a burnt hole in it. Yeah. Maybe it was directed at me. The energy beam was like trying to fry me in my location. I don't wear any electronic devices on me, so they can't really track where my physical body is other than my thermoscan. But in case you didn't see the lining inside my coat, it completely deflects thermophotography. Holding a hardwood from a cigarette butt? Yeah, that's a little weird. It looked like a strange burn, like a strange etching. Yeah, I still don't even know what it was. It still doesn't look like a cigarette burn to me, but it was fresh. It could have been a directed energy weapon. You're right. I'd be careful. It is kind of scary when you think about, they got a picture of a beam coming in from the sky, and then it's right over my house. Yeah, that's really weird. Hey, Operation Backyard Brawl is still going on. They're still trying to find the kids that are missing in Tucson. Now, I know Donald Trump doesn't care about the missing 1,500 immigrants that he purposely is separating from families because he won't tell Jeff Sessions what to do. It's the weirdest thing. I mean, Donald's afraid to talk to Jeff Sessions, and Jeff Sessions has recused himself from the Russian thing, so he won't talk to Donald Trump. So it's kind of weird. Very adversarial, but they're out there looking for kids, looking for camps that are being used as sex trafficking camps by these mules or these people that are moving children. Okay, there are a lot of people out there, and you know one of the things I wanted to say is that they're top law enforcement, ex-law enforcement people. Many of the people in his crew are not ragtag homeless losers. They're vets with solid backgrounds in investigations, and they're trackers too, professional trackers. So, if these guys are going to find these kids that are being trafficked in real time with video to prove to these scumbags in their government that don't even want to investigate, they're going to do it. So I think days are numbered when we'll find these guys will uncover some sort of a major encampment and get them on tape, and the government won't be able to stand there and say, oh, that's an adult skull. When reviewing, the footage, that was a kid's skull. There's no way that was an adult skull. It's definitely a kid's skull. I'll show it to you. Well, maybe I won't show it to you right now. We'll show it to you later. Is that right? Okay, we have confirmation. Oh, here it is. Now you look at this skull that they handed over to the Tucson police, you clearly see, clearly, this is half the size of a boot. Now your standard boot, that means the skull is no more than 6 inches in length, let alone width. Probably 4 or 5 inches in width, which is clearly a child's skull. But the Tucson police insisted that's an adult skull, and they will not send the cadaver dogs into the region. Isn't that amazing? And all of this is under the auspices of Mayor Jonathan Rothschild. Little convenient that the Rothschilds have a mayor there right where their alleged human trafficking is going on. Okay, a Los Angeles gala has raised $53.8 million for Israeli soldiers. Can you believe this? Now, we're living in a Zionist-controlled country right now, but Americans aren't Zionists. But these backers are. Many of these people go to these galas to support Israel no matter what. Now, Israel just killed 61 innocent Palestinian kids, shot them with bullets. And our country's standing behind a regime doing that. Now, I certainly don't want to alienate Israel as an ally. But this has to be addressed, and to just raise money left and right in lieu of that shows you how completely controlled the Zionist-backed supporters, titans and celebrities, business titans and celebrities, could raise $50 million that quick. $53 million for the Israelis' defense fund. Okay, a Russian lawmaker has warned against sex with foreigners during the World Cup. If it's another race, it's worse. Uh-oh.
Will not be on the pitch. It will be Russian President Vladimir Putin, who obviously will not be playing unless he decides to throw some cleats on at some point. But he's getting another chance here to host a global sporting event.
Yeah, Evan, 4 years ago, the world came to Sochi for the Olympics, and it was supposed to be Putin welcomes the West. There was a glimmer of hope at that time that the Olympics would show off the new Russia. It was the first major sporting event on the Olympic stage since the fall of the Soviet Union. And for a time, it looked like it was going to be a smashing success, despite the hashtag Sochi problems with the missing shower curtains and the broken doorknobs.
Well, now the Russians are worried that the Russian people are so addicted to sex that they're going to have sex with visitors and have children illegitimately from visitors at the World Cup. See, Russia is still very much like the isolated country they were back when they were involved with the Soviet Union. They haven't changed that much. Russia is still pretty much controlled. You can't be homosexual in Russia without going to jail. Person of interest says you're being heavily censored again, David. I know good and well you have more than 162 viewers. Person of interest, we have millions, hundreds of millions of viewers. So thank you for making that note, but our viewership is off the charts. We have people watching our show every night from all around the world, and I want to thank all of you for doing that. Because this whole effort wouldn't even have the momentum that it has, meaning I wouldn't do the show every day if I didn't realize that this message is much bigger and they're trying to suppress it. So this hatred to homosexuality, the rigging of their elections, Russia is farther back in terms of their development than our country. Now, as much as our country seems like it's completely spread out all over the place, with Trump running his mouth off, tweeting incessantly, acting like a child globally, we actually have at our disposal a system that could actually right itself and get even better. So what we're seeing right now with the breakdown of the Trump administration, 36 people fired already in just almost a year and a half, more than a year and a half, 35 people fired. We're actually 36 now because he just fired the woman that said that horrible thing about John McCain. She's been removed. And I guess we're looking at a way in which our government can be flexible, whereas the Russian government cannot. Vladimir Putin decided to keep his only competition, Navalny, out of the race, claiming that he had committed fraud of some kind and couldn't even get in the race. He rigged the election against any of competitors that were legitimate and good-looking too. I don't really think the statement that the woman made about Donald Trump was about John McCain was appropriate. Yeah, she was it was a unfortunate thing. Kelly Sadler made a statement that cost her job. You know, she said that she was, in response to John McCain suggesting that Gina Haspel was not right for the job because of her history of torture. Kelly Sadler said that who cares what John McCain said? He'll be dead soon anyway. Now, this is a man who just ran for president. Recent history, and to do that is just bizarre. But she did it, and she said it was exactly how she felt. And she stood behind what she said, and she hasn't apologized to this day. Yeah, she still kept with it. Oh yeah, she refuses. She's not going to apologize to anybody. Oh, but now she's out. She got removed. She has been removed from the lineup. So Kelly has been taken out. She lost her job. And Trump didn't even bother to issue a statement. He just fired her. So she's the 36th in just right around a year and a half to have lost her job. The man runs his administration like a case of musical chairs. Anyone who disagrees with him is fired. Except, of course, his closest compadre, Jared Kushner, who seems to do no wrong. The early days when Bannon was working for him, it seemed like he had a cohesive policy. Now he's just doing whatever Goldman Sachs tells him to do. I'm not a big fan of John McCain, but I never would say that about a man dying. I'm not going to pretend he was a good person or a bad person. I'm just saying you don't say that about a man dying, especially when he's been as powerful as he has been in politics. It's just the wrong thing to say. Well, let's be completely clear. So Michael Cohen is about ready to flip. That's good news. Backyard Brawl is in the lineup. Live relay chat is on. Okay. When it goes live, they talk about it. Who's given the green light to kill children before? Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what you're saying. Blah, 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 blah. I hate politics. Okay, Jay Smith, what do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? Because obviously I can't really wow you with my discussion of politics. I'm losing you, man. Do you want to just listen to some music? You know, hang out. Just hang out. Do some fun stuff. Want to hear the Jason song?
Jason.
Oh, okay, we're going to talk about new tech stuff. All right, cool. Let's talk about new tech stuff. The thing that comes to mind when I talk about tech stuff is my Uvex glasses, which I just purchased for $10 on eBay. These things provide complete prevention of blue light infusion in your retina, and you need to get these things. They're called Uvex, and they're $10, and they're the highest rated glasses you can get, and they'll prevent your eyes from getting macular degeneration at age 50. I don't do a lot of music video. No, I hardly do. You know, I cut back on a lot of the music that I play, believe it or not. Yeah, so these things are going to save your eyes, and they virtually, you know, we tone our show down at 9 o'clock. Our monitors shut down to a nighttime mode, which you can set on your monitors. But yeah, these are $10, and they are really the best on the market, technology-wise, for saving your eyes. So just look up the word Uvex, and you'll find them on Amazon, and they've got to have a little thing right here. You see that little thing? The distinguishing mark? Yep. You'll have a cool experience as opposed to losing your eyesight when you're 50 and having to walk around touching things. Yeah. I know you'll want to go walk around touching things when you're 50 because that's about the only fun you'll have. North Korean numbers station transmission, Pyongyang. Well, this looks interesting.
지금부터 21회 단사대원들을 위한 원격 교육대학 수학복습과제를 알려드리겠습니다. 무언가를 걸어줬습니다.
Okay, the unrelated transmission is a Russian digital modem, AT3104D, or CIS-12. Okay, what you're hearing is the back channels of Russia communicating with North Korea about this deal that they're negotiating. Now, Donald Trump has fallen, I believe he's fallen victim to the Russian control at all levels. They've actually decided, the Russians did, to prop up his presidency by getting this North Korean deal to go forward rapidly. So what you're monitoring right now really is, it does look like a transmission from North Korea to Russia. Yeah, I'm definitely, I don't know what to do with this, but I'm going to put it in my list of things to watch tonight. But it's 15 minutes of nonstop, untranslatable stuff. Unless you're Korean, you would know what they're saying. Okay. Bill Clinton. This is an 8.9 hijacking from 1995. That's pretty intense stuff. I have no idea what this stuff is, but I can't play the whole thing tonight. I'll put it in miscellaneous. Wow. So we're talking about transmissions between North Korea and Russia. Thank you very much. If you haven't caught our... It predicts 911, really? Wow. If you haven't seen our show before, where do I fast forward to? It's reading off names of victims of a plane crash. It predicts 911? Wow. Okay. Good to know. The names of a plane crash. And it predicts the 9/11 attack. Wow. What can I say? In New York City. Yeah, it's really amazing stuff. So we know that the people who are behind these events have been working together. So the idea of Donald Trump magically meeting Kim Jong-un in a quick way and him just agreeing to everything, total denuclearization, is preposterous. And it reeks of some sort of a deeper, more sinister manipulation. Okay, let's take a look at chat room celebrities. Libyan photos go viral before Hillary Clinton and after Hillary Clinton. Interesting. So this man's been tracking the Benghazi situation still.
This is Alex from the Duran, and today we're going to be talking about before and after photos in Libya that have gone viral on social media. Okay, so this guy was in Benghazi, and he took photos from certain spots in 2000, and then he went back in 2018 and took the photos again in the same spot. And he highlights the devastation and the destruction caused by the NATO liberation.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. This is good. This is really good. Yeah, it didn't liberate anything. In fact, our government openly is on record siding with al-Qaeda forces to depose Muammar Gaddafi. And ironically, Kim Jong-un he believes wholeheartedly that he could be like Gaddafi if he gets rid of his nuclear weapons. So for him to just give up all his nuclear weapons is almost beyond belief. Okay. It was an eerie a radio intrusion that occurred in New York City in 1995 with an eerie sound, then a female reading off names of dates of deceased people from the 1980s. That's pretty seriously weird. Yeah, there's always weird transmission issues. You made tacos? Do you use beef or chicken? What's your fave? Yeah. If you're here to talk about mindless stuff, you just came to the show and to kind of like, okay, cool. I don't mind talking about mindless stuff on Wasteful Wednesday because there's nothing better than wasting your Wednesday. Yeah, we can talk about social issues too. Like if Melania is going to ever make an appearance again, socially. Yeah, our government supported al-Qaeda during that time period and deposed Muammar Gaddafi. So our government has a lot of explaining to do as to why they would back al-Qaeda forces during that time period. Nobody in our government questioned it while it was happening. Okay, which photo did you see? This one? Or this one? Or the one they want you to? Yeah, I saw A. Yeah, I didn't see the one where he was working out and smiling with Angela Merkel. Yeah. I think that was Donald Trump, just because he alienated everybody at the G7 doesn't mean he was angry. He had a very nice, pleasant demeanor there when he basically pissed off everybody there. Mars rover Opportunity has survived 5,161 days longer than expected, but a massive storm threatens to end its mission on Greenland. Yeah, I think they just want to decommission the Greenland project because it's costing too much money. It's hard to fake landing on Mars and... Yeah, the Mars rover Opportunity is trying to survive an intense storm. Oh, isn't that convenient that they're having a storm? Darkening sky, blotting out the sun. Yeah. Their panels won't be able to work anymore, so all these dithered images show how poorly their transmissions are. Now, if they were smart, they could work out an algorithm that would reverse text these entire images and they would be reconstructed with perfect realistic footage. Just like they did with the Greenland rover, yeah. You've seen the rover footage, haven't you, Sarah? Of the rover on Greenland?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Sarah's argument is that the rover on Greenland is not the official rover, it's the one they practice with. And she has a good point. I'm not, disputing that. It's possible. It's the practice rover.
Yes.
And Ivanka Trump has casually liked a porn star's tweet dissing her dad. Okay, this is news. Hang on just a second. Let me just take a look at this. Like, the news is so weird now. Yeah, Jay Smith just made some beef tacos. I'm going to have some of those meatballs, too. They look like homemade meatballs. You think they were store-bought or homemade?
I don't know. They're Swedish meatballs.
They look like IKEA's brand.
They're probably store-bought.
I'm going to say they're IKEA, not Costco.
I don't think they're IKEA. Nobody would drive all the way to IKEA from here.
Well, maybe they had them in the freezer and they defrosted them.
Maybe.
Ivanka Trump casually likes a porn star's tweet dissing her dad. Okay, the prodigal daughter, Ivanka Trump, is back at it again with a questionable Twitter like. On Wednesday, the Trump's Alert Twitter account notified followers that Ivanka liked a tweet by Tommy Pistol, an actor and director of adult films, and which said, "I don't support Trump in any way, just to be clear." Whoa. His own daughter said she liked this tweet. Look at that.
Well, that doesn't show her liking it.
It doesn't?
No. I don't see her name anywhere in there.
I don't either. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it sounds like somebody's making up a story about Ivanka. I mean, isn't she perfect? Here's her story here. A similar flub occurred when Ivanka's Twitter account liked the following tweet. Yeah, okay. Women who work. It's okay to call daughter Ivanka a bleep, and then she liked that tweet. Mistakenly calling, Huffington Post said it's okay to call daughter Ivanka a bleep, and then she mistakenly liked that tweet. I'm not going to worry about this. If Ivanka wanted to say something about her father, she would openly talk about him, and she's not going to do that. So, and same with Melania. She liked the Free Melania movement. She had liked that, and people said, "Why is Melania liking the Free Melania hashtag Free Melania?" Maybe she just accidentally hit it. I don't really care until they make an official statement. Let's face it, it's just hearsay.
It's easy to like a tweet.
Yeah. I mean, if that's what the world's come to, is who's liking whose tweets and not really communicating, we're worse off than North Korea. CNN contrasts the Fox personal praise for Trump's Kim Sung past criticism of Obama. Huh.
Okay, so conservative media outlets, many of them, are praising President Trump's meeting with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. But that position was remarkably different than the one those same commentators took when President Obama dared to even suggest doing it. Listen.
Would you, as president, meet with the leaders of a country like North Korea? Obama extraordinarily said I'd meet with him.
Senator Obama made his intentions crystal clear on the campaign trail.
I will meet not just with our friends,
but with our enemies.
President Obama likes talking to dictators.
He would meet with some of these madmen without any preconditions.
You know, I'm going to reach out to these crazy people around the world and try to get things done.
Yeah.
I think that's a mistake.
Obama is bowing and scraping before dictators.
All right, to be clear, there's hypocrisy on both sides of the aisle, and we will get to that. So joining us now to talk about all of this, we have CNN senior media.
Yeah, so everything kind of flipped. None of the Republicans would ever imagine Donald Trump or Barack Obama ever inviting Kim Jong-un to the White House. And now, according to a post last night, Donald Trump has invited Kim Jong-un to the White House, and he will be accepting the offer. Okay, so what do we have here? It's for the people meat. Quality meats made from people. Don't be ridiculous. God. Free people. Free range people. That's just crazy, man. That's the craziest meme ever. Did Melania have some major operation? We don't know. She underwent an embolization procedure at Walter Reed, which normally would only take 1 day. She stayed 4 days, and she hasn't been able to fly because of her condition.
You should tell him about David Sponheim 248. But of course, I'm sure Obama wouldn't like David Sponheim, but...
Well, Obama would be offended by the fact that I still continue to believe that Michelle is a transgender and that he is a fraud. So he wouldn't exactly like me. Yeah. And I'm not here to suck up to the Democrats, because the Democrats are bought off. No. The Democrats have been bought off. They're no longer a party that really represent the people. Now they represent Debbie Wasserman Schultz and the Awan brothers. It's not like they're helping anybody. Okay, so Melania is still recovering, according to TMZ, from her surgery. And she's going to get better. Really well after surgery. Oh, Melania is doing really well after surgery, says Donald. Well, at least he got her name right. He tweeted her and said, Melanie, I hope you feel better. Good news for Melanie Trump. She's recovering very well, really well. She underwent an embolization. This is an old story, dude. Yeah, it's like, why are you throwing last month's news? We haven't seen her in, 30 days now? She made a short, brief appearance. Yeah, only one camera, a small Kodachrome camera, was allowed into the show. Somebody snapped a snapshot, but that's all they saw. We're not sure if she had a sex change operation. That's ridiculous. I think they're cloning her, too. I agree. All right, I think we're done here. You've been kicked, Jay Smith. You're not allowed to do a line with one of the female broadcasters. I'm going to pass on that one. That's a tongue twister. It's a cowboy. I don't see a cowboy there. I see an inverted scorpion. Whatever. Is this Rorschach moments? Climate Antarctica, ice melting faster than ever expected. Yeah, we're going to do a video tonight at 10 o'clock about that ice melting situation. I've got it in the lineup. Yeah, major breaks. 60 to 90% of the world's fresh water is frozen in the ice of Antarctica, and it's melting at a rather rapid rate. It could raise world sea levels by roughly 200 feet if all that ice melted, which means forget about the East Coast. They'll be underwater.
As will I.
And we would too. So we're 60 feet above water. We'd be underwater here too.
I'm swimming.
Yep. When you see it, you'll see. Okay, so I'm going to look at it now. It's a cowboy.
I don't see it.
Well, I see a cowboy hat there. You know. You see the cowboy hat? Right there.
Okay. Oh, yes. Now I see it. It's a cowboy's face.
It's a cowboy's face, yeah.
There's his eyes and there's his lips and there's, yeah, I get it.
Once you see it, you don't lose it. Once you get the cowboy hat, then you see the face. The look of the cowboy.
If you just show me that part, I might get the face.
Yeah.
But it's the black that I couldn't get the face.
Well, ma'am, I think you have to realize that some Rorschach tests are harder than others.
Yeah, I guess I'm not a Rorschach person.
Yeah.
Not a big artist.
Thanks for sharing. And it was a good test of our creative thought processes. And more back to you. Oh, wonderful. Oh man, this is great. I get to go eat some dinner now. I'll be back. Thank you.
Oh, good point. Tic-tac-toe. Okay. I feel like that 623. Feel like sleeping sometimes. All right. What is David eating? He's eating some rice and some Swedish meatballs, and that's it. And maybe some Brussels sprouts. You'll want to know what David's eating all the time. Not sushi. Not as far as I know. We need more water, says Alpha Geek. Yeah, maybe we can take the melting ice and make more water. No, we're out of snap peas, as David so fondly reminded me. You love David's new hairstyle? I'm the one that cut my hair. Can I play Mr. Right, please? No. I don't know where it is. Coffee time to perk up for one more hour. Good. Yes, that's what David's going to bring back, is some coffee. Please look at the spoon found on Mars. Wow. That's pretty cool. I don't like to judge people and call people a certain name, 742. Just because of their behavior. I think that's kind of critical and that's judgmental. So, no, I don't like to do that. The low tide chart for this morning. Yeah, well, you know, David can play Mr. Right when he comes back on. It was Jason. Oh, you would like, tell David you would like to see a baklava cooking show. I just had some homemade baklava last week at a little party I went to. It was a retirement party. So good. It was phyllo dough, butter, walnuts, cinnamon, and sugar. But now that I'm trying to avoid I'm trying to avoid all of those except for the walnuts. It definitely was not from Jason Bourne, no, or Matt Damon either. It was from, if it was from one of them, I might actually accept the call.
So do you hear the newest theory about the hole in the deck? The burn hole in the deck?
That's from The Light?
It's a directed energy weapon. From that video, that picture that was taken.
Ah. That's a good conspiracy theory.
That's a pretty good one. I don't think your dad would have left a cigarette there.
Maybe, maybe not.
I don't think so.
Know.
I don't think he had the time to do
Not right now, 742. Like I said, I'm in the show and David will be back. I think what you all need is some trivia. I will tell David you want to see a baklava cooking show, though. Yes, the first answer was rationing. What is the cost of producing a good or service, including the cost of all resources used and the cost of not employing those resources in alternative uses? Do 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 do. All right, it is the real cost. Oh, I forgot to tell you all the answers start with the letter R. What is income that is measured in terms of the goods and services it can buy? Not just how much you make, but measure it in terms of the economy, in terms of goods and services you can buy. Correct. 788. Real income. Real income. What is property that's held in the form of land or buildings? Not just like paperback securities or anything like that. Oh, good. So close. Real property. But you guys are close with real estate, realty, real property. What are wages adjusted for the prevailing level of consumer prices? Sometimes referred to as constant dollars. Good evening, Ace Spade. Real hungry? Aha. Real world buying power? Close. Real wages. Alright, no more getting real. What is the return of part of a payment for a good? Unlike a discount, which is deducted from the price before purchase, this is returned after purchase. Correct. 788. And Flat Moon? Rebates. I would say you're kind of on the right track with the refund, but it was rebates. Yes. What is a general business slump? It's not a depression. At first, it's just a correct 788. They sometimes say we had this in 2008. Close enough, tic-tac-toe. You got the spelling misspelled, but you got the idea across. Recession. It's spelled like recess at school and then add ION. Recession. All right. What is any process such as inflation or taxation or the provision of social services that reallocates household income? Bye 596. Thank you for watching. Good job 788. Yes. Some say this of wealth. Let's make it all fair for everybody. Let's do this to wealth. It is a redistribution. I like your guess of reallocation, but it's a redistribution. Bernie wants to do that, really? Oh, goodness. What is a tax that takes a higher percentage of low incomes than high ones? Sales tax, especially on food, clothing, medicine, and other basic necessities, are widely cited as examples of this. So it's not like the rich pay more percentage in taxes, it's the opposite. Correct, 788. It is called a regressive tax, as opposed to a progressive tax. Wow, tic-tac-toe, wow. What are laws through which governments can control privately owned businesses? They don't need to control them as in own them, they just need to control them. Because they make them follow all the laws. It's called this. Correct, 788. Good night, Mad Cat Fluffy. AKA Mad Dog? I don't know. Yes, I will accept. Both of you said regulatory. It said regulation. I will definitely accept regulatory. Yes. All right. What is a term describing businesses that sell goods directly to individuals? Correct, 788. You go into this type of store, you buy a pair of jeans, or you buy, yeah, anything. Correct, tic-tac-toe. It's a retail. What is the income of local, state, or national governments? Or your own self? What is your income referred to, starting with the letter R? You take it in, so it's called this. Income. Correct, 788. It is revenue. What is a transfer of tax of money that is received and it goes from one unit of government, such as the federal government, to other units, such as state governments? They put it out for everyone. Yeah, it's a good guess about redistribution, but it's called revenue sharing. Revenue sharing. All right, who was a British economist of the late 18th and early 19th centuries? He was essentially a classical economist in the tradition of Adam Smith, but he expanded Smith's version to forecast an eventual end to economic growth owing to the difficulty of increasing food production to keep up with the population growth. With Thomas Malthus, this person is credited with propounding the pessimistic view that earned economics the label of the dismal science. Not Milton Friedman, not John Maynard Keynes, not Karl Marx. Let's see if you guys can get this one. I don't think anyone will. He's a British economist. He's around in the 1700s, 1800s, early 1800s. And he believed that people cannot create enough food. Yeah, and his last name starts with the letter R. Not Thomas, not Rhodes. His name is David Ricardo. David Ricardo. All right. New clue. What are laws that make it illegal to require workers to join labor unions as a condition of employment? Of course, these laws are opposed to union shops. What is NLRA 938? All right, the answer is right to work laws. Right to work laws are laws that make it illegal to require workers to join labor unions as a condition of employment. Okay, what is money that is invested in high-risk enterprises? You could win big or you could lose it all, but when they go and ask for people to like invest in them, they usually are seeking this. Some people like to gamble. So close. You said risky venture. It is. That's very, very close. Yes. It's called either risk capital or venture capital. So 788, I'm going to give it to you. Yes. Venture capital or risk capital. We're still on R. That was risk capital, but I would have accepted venture capital. But risky venture is very close. Very close. I would say that's exactly right. What is a term that is applied to certain lending American businessmen of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, including Cornelius Vanderbilt and John D. Rockefeller? The term suggests that they acquired their wealth by means more often foul than fair. So people called them this. It's not a very nice term. Not venture capitalist was for the last one, right? Walgreens, you're probably right. Now I'm on to a new clue. A term applied to certain leading American businessmen like Cornelius Vanderbilt and John D. Rockefeller. Rotten fellows, ooh, that's a good one. Renegade investors, ooh, that's good. I love looking at your answers. This one says robber barons. 938 got it right. Oh, Walgreens got it right as I was writing. As I was saying it, both of you are good. Nice job. All right, who was an American businessman of the late 19th and early 20th century? He was a founder of the Standard Oil Company, and he was the richest man in the world at his retirement, and he was noted for founding many charitable organizations. Correct, Walgreens. Correct, 788. John D. Rockefeller. All right. What is used as a synonym for high technology, high tech? It refers to a highway encircling the suburbs of Boston, Massachusetts, which is known for the concentration of electronics and computer firms located along it. I just thought it was named for that many bits. Not just 8-bit, but it's called route something. I guess it's a highway near MIT Walgreens. Oh, that's a good guess. Wasn't that nice to be typing in bed? It is called Route 128. All right, what is a payment made for some right or privilege, as when a publisher pays this to an author for the author's granting the publisher the right to sell their book? It is a royalty, correct. I'm Sarah Misanthropy. I am the Sarah bot. Better than Sarah. I'm just kidding. What is an index? Now we're no longer on R. The next one starts with letter S. What is an index of stock prices issued by Standard & Poor, a major credit reporting agency, and indicating price movements of the shares of 500 major companies traded on the New York Stock Exchange? Correct. Walgreens. Tic-tac-toe. Even better, 788. S&P 500. Oh, I was going to show you guys a picture. John D. Rockefeller. A photographic portrait. Woo. There he is. Okay. I think David went out to feed the fish. What is a financial institution that resembles a bank, but that historically did not offer services such as personal checking accounts and invested capital mainly in home mortgages? Yes, Ticken, I can be nice to you today. Can you be nice to me today? Please. I guess so, Misanthropy. Correct, Tic-Tac-Toe. Correct, 788. It is Savings and Loan Association. Congress passed, in the late 1970s, Congress passed legislation freeing savings and loan associations from their traditional dependency on home mortgage loans. In response, they invested their capital, often unwisely, in a range of enterprises, especially real estate. In the late 1800s, or in the late 1980s, that's a totally different time. I don't know why I mix those up. In the late 1980s, hundreds of savings and loans went bankrupt, leaving the federal government, which insured the accounts of depositors, with an enormous bill. Since then, they have been subject to tighter regulation. Really, John D. Rockefeller died earlier this year? You mean his son? Or his grandson, maybe? I should look up John D. Rockefeller. Now you've got me curious. Yeah, he died in 1937. John Davison Rockefeller Sr. But I'm sure his son or grandson died. Oh, you thought I said David Rockefeller. I didn't realize. Let me look up David Rockefeller, because now you've got me curious too. I think he did. Yes, earlier last year. March 20th, 2017. March 20th. David Rockefeller was like a rich uncle to you. He was a good start. It's a good start. Nice. Did you invest in property? 927. It's already been a year. Yeah. That's pretty amazing. Okay, so there's a question. Are the Rockefellers still rich? Despite the family's immense wealth, the Rockefellers no longer stand atop America's financial hierarchy. At $10 billion, that's a huge amount. The family ranks 24th on Forbes lists. Far cry of the heyday of John D. Rockefeller, who became the world's first billionaire in 1916, which would be equal to $30 billion a day. 30 billion today. I know, every time sure does fly by when every day is the same day here. Yes, I'm getting my secondary wind. I'm getting ready for it. Okay, here we go, 788. New clue, starting with letter S. What is a bond that is issued by the United States government and sold in relatively small denominations, mainly to individuals? Correct, 788. It is a savings bond. All right, informally, what is a worker who stays on the job while others go on strike? It is also a worker brought in to keep a plant operating when its workforce is on strike. Correct, correct, correct. Tic-tac-toe, Flat Moon, Walgreens, all got it right. 927, so close. And I will accept strike breaker. Yes, that's also another acceptable response. It is a scab or a strike breaker. An employee hired to replace a striking worker is a strike breaker. Yeah, that's funny, misanthropy. What is the basic problem on which classical economic theory is built? Simply that human wants will always exceed the resources available to fulfill those wants. This tenet was challenged by the rise of what John Kenneth Galbraith described as the affluent society. Before everybody thought this was the case and that created economics. Tic-tac-toe is right and 788 is right. Scarcity. But like love, there's enough for everybody. And the more you love, the more love you get in return. It's so beautiful. Love is a beautiful thing. All right, what is periodic unemployment created by variations in particular industries, especially industries such as construction, that are affected by weather? Yes, 788, I will accept that. Yes, Spectra, I will accept that. They say seasonal unemployment. All right, what is written evidence of ownership or creditorship, such as bonds and stock certificates? If you have these, you feel all safe and nothing's going to happen because you feel this, and that's what they're called. Written evidence of ownership or creditorship, such as bonds and stock certificates. Correct, 788, securities. What is a federal agency that supervises the exchange of securities so as to protect investors against malpractice, such as insider trading?
Glass-Steagall Act.
The SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission.
Yes.
The sun is out at 5 a.m. because it is summer. It's getting closer and closer to the longest day of the year. The longest day of the year is in exactly 1 week.
He's getting bored.
Well, it's a good thing you're getting bored because David's back, so you don't have to listen to my boring book anymore.
Well, you've done great. I mean, people need to listen to trivia and important information too. I've got some welding I'm doing outside, so I'm wearing my welding glasses.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
Just thought I'd,
I think
Healing
I'm
Art
going to
Building
say
is-
good night.
Good night, Sarah. Thank you so much. These evenings have been so calming with you here. It's been wonderful. I'm back, and I'm nationwide. Thank you. Here we go. We're returning with a big bang. Mr. Right is on now.
You're Mr. Right, my Mr. Right, too good to be true. You spin my world around, 'cause you're the peace I find. If you sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. You're Mr. Right, my Mr. Right, too good to be true. My world around, 'cause you're the peace I find. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. You're Mr. Right, my Mr. Right, too good to be true. You spin my world around, 'cause you're the peace I find. If you sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. You're Mr. Right, my Mr. Right, too good to be true.
Okay, we are up and running. Thank you. Want to remind everybody that North Korea has completely recanted their position time and time again. They have said that they were going to get rid of nuclear weapons, and they've gone back on their word. So this is not an unusual experience to see somebody promise Trump whatever he wants in order to make the Russians look better. Actually, it's in order to make Donald Trump look better, actually, because the Russians were in touch with Kim Jong-un right before he met with Donald Trump. And the Russians do not want in any way to be looked at as a prying, overtaking agency out to get at our government and to take us down. But they really are. The Russians have been systematically trying to break down our security systems. And when I remember when Trump first became president, he actually suggested that we use the Russian cybersecurity forces at Kaspersky and various other places to actually do our cybersecurity. He put that out there. The early days. And he fired all our top cybersecurity people. So we're kind of in a situation where the Russians are really breathing down our backs, and our people still like Trump. They still think he's great. Some of them do. I think it's kind of funny. Russia is making all of this happen. And they keep trying to hold back the tide of truth that's being revealed by Mueller in his efforts to find out all the details about Manafort and Michael Cohen. Now, Giuliani is running interference, kind of like an intermediary, trying to prevent anyone from really putting buzz or spin on Donald Trump's current situation with the Mueller investigation. And Giuliani's coming up with statements like, oh, none of this is true about Manafort. Everything is coming out true about Manafort. And so many people are flipping, even Michael Cohen. He might very well be flipping. He's fired his attorneys right now. He's getting ready to perhaps represent himself. So that's a sure sign he's flipping. He's probably going to cut a deal. Michael Cohen doesn't seem like a man who wants to spend the rest of his life in jail. So he probably wants out of that. No, the Russian boogeyman is not the new Al-Qaeda, hardly. The fact that the Russians are involved in the Republican Party so heavily really makes us have to wonder what kind of people you are that don't want to question those things. The mindless Republicans under Devin Nunes have literally spent most of their time trying to cover this whole thing up, act like Russian interference. Those people, I believe, are committing obstruction of justice. I think Devin Nunes is committing obstruction of justice for Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is using all aspects of our government to prop up Russia, even going so far as to say that they should be join the G8. Yeah. Now that story would have been leading right now had the Kim Jong-un event had not happened, and that was orchestrated perfectly by Lavrov when he insisted that Kim Jong-un agree with everything Trump wanted so Trump looks like a good guy. Okay, the best way to meet a modern woman, a modern age, to meet a woman in another state, first of all, is to start a phone conversation after about 2-3 days of tweeting or online social messaging. Yeah, and then after the phone conversation, then comes the Skype conversation. Or the Skype conversation, to preserve both of your anonymity, could go on right there, and you could go through a VPN so that you could both feel safe. Because meeting people online, you have to guarantee that that person's not, their location isn't violated. And when Sarah and I first met, we definitely had a third person come by and check me out, make sure I was a real person, and I looked okay. And Sarah had a friend of a friend who actually met us when we first met each other. So when you meet each other, it has to be, in a controlled environment where you're both safe. But that's the beginning of the begin for somebody who you match idea for idea. But remember, you got to test it out a lot on the phone. This is a way to meet anybody, not women, You got to test out the parameters of your meeting, because remember, almost everybody is scripted the first 2 to 6 weeks of their relationship. So you have to get through some scripting stages in the get to know stage. Because you can't do a 5-minute speed date and get to know somebody and expect that to be your lifetime partner. There's a lot of finding out where you go, and even then you don't know each other completely until you're well into the relationship. But you have to start somewhere. So the process is great, though. Gosh, falling in love, you're going to really have the best time of your life. It'll be the most enjoyable time of your existence, is when you meet that right person and you fall in love. Don't get tied online with somebody. It could be a disaster. I met a woman when I was back in 1990s when I was online chatting, who had traveled from place to place, and guy friend with her 2 kids and her desktop computer wrapped up in a box. I mean, it was so sad. She got on buses and she took her 2 kids with her. She had 2 kids from a prior relationship. And she literally went from home to home and new boyfriend to new online boyfriend. And she was like a boyfriend hopper. Now, there are a lot of people online that regularly meet each other and don't get involved. And there's sites like Plenty of Fish. I mean, this is Wasteful Wednesday. I can talk about this. It's kind of fun stuff. Plenty of Fish is a free site that older people are using. That actually, dates back, if you're in your 20s, you can still use Plenty of Fish. It works. But a lot of older people are using it. But there's people who never hook up, who've been on 200 dates, and they can't find the right person. Because everybody has all these expectations for each other that are built into our brain. Yeah, it's called POF.com. You're rolling on the floor laughing. That's funny. And then you have to make sure that by talking to the person, if they've ever had any issues with STDs, you got to broach that issue. Otherwise, you go into it blind. The person might have herpes. Practically 45% of the population has herpes of some sort. So then you have to know, are you willing to get past that barrier? And then that's going to be a big, huge issue. Say you're with a person who doesn't tell you, like Charlie Sheen, and then you find out you got AIDS. Yeah, that's a real frightening thing. So then you'd want to use a body condom whenever you meet people. So walking around in a body condom at the Starbucks is a little unnatural. So you have to actually forget about that initially. Don't wear the body condom when meeting people in the Starbucks. Sex is a binder, one of the binding elements in a relationship. Not the only one. There's companionship. You met a shallow woman on Plenty of Fish who would ignore her daughter and sit back on Facebook. I think she thought of me as some kind of pet. Maybe you're one of her many buddies on her buddy list. Well, the supply might be used up. It's true. I mean, a lot of women have already found the guy they're going to stay with. And, you guys who are out there looking for a woman feel a little displaced. And I think you got to realize that, number one, you don't have it that bad. You've got some of the best toys in the world, You've got the online internet. I don't know anybody historically that ever had access to as much erotica as you have. I mean, seriously, you shouldn't be complaining. But if you are still complaining, you really want human contact. I get it. I totally do. So I would recommend, for those of you who are really in tough situation meeting women, there's a couple of things I've been suggesting to people. Obviously, just becoming a massage therapist is your best shot. You need to be in a profession where you meet a lot of people looking for good massages, and then you'll have no problem meeting anybody. So become a masseuse. So we are far ways from this guy being our president, and he suffered a great deal. And he was 56 in this picture. He died right after this picture was taken. But he needed a. I think he did the best he could. In retrospect, I don't think he could have pulled his country together any better than he tried. But we were literally going to be cut in half as a nation, and had the North not prevailed in the war, I think we would have been cut in half. Abraham Lincoln was a fine man. So tonight I'm going to try to feature the YouTube show of him, which I didn't get a chance to see the other night, at Disneyland. And they've got him audio animatrized so he can say anything. And it's just phenomenal what they're doing with this guy. Abe Lincoln. Good old Abe. Oh, that was a really good video about vegan burgers. I'm going to add that tonight to our list. Yeah, it was a lesbian was talking about vegan burgers. She's a really nice woman and really, really good chef. She really nailed it. Life like Abraham Lincoln. And we'll follow with Justin Trudeau's eyebrow falling off. Surrendering Your Straw Man by Clint Richardson, Free Man Fly, was a very long radio cast. I didn't want to play that last night. We did find this weird similarity between the Rescuers video by Disney and what appears to be a picture of some sadomasochistic bondage scene. Yeah, and this ties into the Kate Spade death, where Andy Spade wore the masks of the cat or of the rat. I have not watched the President's animatronics now. So anyway, what I'm showing you right now appears on the movie Rescuers by Disney. And there appears to be two breasts here where the cursor is, and a person tied up on some bondage device. Yeah, there's the horns of the devil. Anyway, this is a weird symbolism that the Rescuer movie talks about dealing with human abductions. Obviously, the name Rescuers. Yeah, and the weird thing about this story, which when you're looking at this, show, you're going, "Wow,
dude,
really?"
There's tips right there in a Disney.
See it? And they grabbed the picture of it. They zoomed in on it. This guy, Andy Spade, and the rat mask, was Page 6 did a story about him. He appeared out of his house a day and a half after his wife killed herself in a mask that comes from the movie Rescuers. There he is, leaving his home. Now, we don't really even know if it's him. It could have been somebody else, but I mean, Andy Gibb may be missing for all we know. I haven't seen his face. But there's the Rescuer mask, and that's something that is strange because it's the mask of a rat, implying that somebody there is a rat. And it begs the question, was she killed? Was she murdered, his wife? And why does this rat mask have a red scarf around it? You know, so all this stuff kind of ties together, and you wonder, wow, what's going on here? Is somebody sending a message that this guy or Kate Spade is a rat? So here's the article on page 6 if you want to read it. Yeah, I guess can't really post things here, but I will take your YouTube thing and check it out. Thanks a lot, 938. Yes, 938 has a link for us. But isn't that interesting? I didn't want to forget that because I think Misanthropy was upset last night that I didn't touch on it enough. I'll check it out. Thank you. Whoa, yeah. Close-up of President Trump animatronic in a Hall of Fame. Yeah, I'll check that out. I haven't seen that. Excellent. Good information sharing. Okay, Facebook has a picture of Hillary carrying a dead baby and Comet Pizza in the background. Wow. That is unbelievable. Look at the power of that image. Man, somebody really went all out and did some Facebook pasting. Good job. Yeah, I'm going to have to take a look at that as well later. Here's the link to the page 6 article on Kate Spade's husband leaving. I know. Prepare the burger a day ahead. Well, I'm gonna watch that lesbian cook the beets. Was the great idea. You get the red color of the meat, and she used beets to prepare the meat. And I thought, you know, I think the Unburger might have a round 3. I might go back and try to create an Unburger because I've always wanted to have something that really was delectable, tasted kind of meaty, but it was more of a vegan kind of a solution because I feel a little guilty eating beef all the time, even though I love a good steak. Yeah, I mean, I look at the livestock industry, and I don't want to go to GMO soy, so I'm coming up with these ideas where I can make a non-soy veggie burger, basically. That's where I'm shooting for. All right, that's done there. Right, and then we had 36 minutes of that historic summit. I'll add that to our list. Well, I must say, Trump definitely made an amazing showing of the event. I will say that. The work that he did was exemplary in terms of broaching the divide, and I appreciate the fact that he actually pressed the flesh insofar as he wanted to do it. I wouldn't shake the hand of a mass murderer myself. But I just don't understand. I'm left with a kind of an Unburger feeling when I look at the entire affair. I'm left with this idea that we got everything we wanted. Everything. We wanted total disarmament. He said total disarmament, total nuclear disarmament. And I can't understand how Kim Jong-un is going to go back to his people and sell that to the people who've been brainwashed to think that their nuclear power and their nuclear weapons is their only weapon they've created for social justice. So I almost feel that they have reached a point at which, if the truth is revealed within North Korea that he's giving up all their nuclear weapons, if he's outright lying to his own people and saying he's not going to do that, I get that. But it's public and people are talking. And people are also listening, and he has many people who have underground systems that watch the news, that tune in. He has networks of people that he can't control within his own country that are watching this show right now, who know full well the truth. So I just don't know how long he's going to hold on to power with that presented position. And if 2.5 years he's able to get rid of all the nuclear weapons and relax all economic sanctions, this only could have been orchestrated by Russia, in my opinion. They're the only ones with enough clout to make it happen. Well, he lies to his own people, yeah, all the time, but Russia is the only group that could really assure him of his security. Because remember, his security is paramount. No, everyone would be concerned about their security. And he's very concerned. He was brave to go to Singapore and do this, Kim was. Well, Russia's economy is just as strong as ours if you look at its total GDP. No, that's not true. No. Russia's GDP is $2 trillion. Ours is too. Check it out. The New World Order would orchestrate Russia to do it. Remember, the New World Order acts through our country, elements within our country, to take down the Soviet Union like we did under George H.W. Bush. And the New World Order, or the Russian oligarchy and the Zionist powers, were the same thing, would work through with Russia to take down our country. Remember, their end game is to dissolve national barriers. So they're out to defeat both our country with Russia's help or Russia with our help. They'll do either one, whatever works for them, whatever's convenient. Think globally. Don't act locally, because you'll get hosed. Keep thinking globally and act globally. Yeah, I proved that a local election would be destroyed by the two-party corrupt system that we have. I proved that in 2014, beyond a shadow of a doubt. They stole 90% of my signs. Okay, give your kid a voice in gun control debate with this election site. Oh, yeah. Start your own March for Our Lives movement for your kid. Oh, yeah, great idea. This is coming out of George Soros, I'm positive. Offspring.lifehacker.com. Wow. That's got to be a MoveOn.org plant. It makes total sense when you realize that the New World Order owns both Russia and the U.S. in parts. Look, there's some mastermind of 13 families at the top of the pyramid that are managing all of the world's affairs. What they're trying to do is gradually retire the scrim of national sovereignty. And they're doing it by any means possible. If they need Russia to contaminate our election process, so be it. If they need George H.W. Bush to ruin their economy in the Soviet Union, which they did, with money that they borrowed, they did that too. So they're capable of using both sides against the middle. And that's how they keep this world divided. The artificial barriers that are out there will be gradually eliminated when these corrupt people take over, but then they'll take away your individual freedoms. You see, the nation-state model is a barrier against this misuse of power at the global level. And the centrists the central government idea has been a failure from the very beginning of time. Central governments under Rome failed. Central governments under Napoleon failed. Central governments under Hitler failed. Under Stalin failed. Look what happened. You can't see one group of people at the New World Order's helm truly ruling the world. It'll never happen. Regionalization is the common denominator. That's why the nation-state model will outlive this BS story of a New World Order, which is really just the monarchy of the past, rebranded as something new. They just rebranded it, put a new name on it. But the old monarchy is really the New World Order, flat out. So if you understand things that way, you'll begin to understand the real nature of how this ploy that's going on by the Zionist elitists to control our country and obviously control Russia and control Trump has been playing out. They can begin to relax many of the barriers that are artificial, like this North Korean barrier, because I think that North Korea really relies heavily on support from the Russia and from China. I don't believe they'd even function if they didn't get support from both of those countries. Well, that's if you assume we even have that debt, because technically Americans never signed off to the United States Corporation. We, the people, never agreed to a corporation called the United States. That was a decision made by FDR. It was not our decision. No, the Queen of England is actually just a legitimate player in this scenario, but the top of the line really involves the Rothschild family, the very richest of all families in the world. But there's many other people of almost equal their wealth. The Warburg family. There's people who, when you look at trace their background, they make Donald Trump look like a shoe shine salesman. You know, it's a guy who would shine your shoes, like that picture represented. Even Putin, they say, has $200 billion to Trump's $3 billion. I mean, look at Alibaba with $17 billion in sales in one day to $1 billion in sales for Amazon. And their big day that they had a reunion, they sold 17 times more than Amazon. There's people out there much more powerful than Trump. Putin is a very wealthy man. He's a very greedy guy too, and that's why they have total control over him. Yeah. Thoughts are that, you know, we're dealing with people of dark nature. I think that's fine, but, you know, again, Podesta, the allegations against him need to be really vetted. Yeah. We haven't really gotten anywhere with it. The Singapore Summit spirit persists here tonight. Nice. Yeah, we have Russia represented too, and China. Look at that. Drinks on the house. Do not drink. Exclusive. It's do not drink. It's exclusive. David, if the richest people in the world see Trump as the shoeshine boy, I can only imagine how they see the lower class like you and me. I totally agree with you. Yes. Like you, I am a mere impoverished plebeian living in my suburban home, in my mobile home. But I'm okay with that. I realize that these people who have this grandiose view of the world and that they have somehow inherited this great power think that they're smarter than we are. They're not. They're just like you and I, really. But the problem is some of them are so corrupt and evil that they've engaged in 2,300 child pornographers, child abusers in a large scale have been arrested over the past 3 months. Yeah. I don't know. De Niro, I don't know if putting that together with De Niro is kind of a far-fetched thing. Are there any allegations of De Niro touching some woman indecently? I have yet to hear that. Yeah, De Niro is the guy that made the Vax. He didn't make the Vax film. He was the Tribeca Film Festival Grand Marshal when the Vax Film Festival, or the Vax film was banned from the Tribeca Film Festival. Podesta needs to be really investigated. I mean, you look at the allegations of him being the father of Chester Bennington, Chester Bennington's death being mistakenly weird, along with all the other suicidings, including the recent ones. I don't know. You know, Rodman comes off as a pretty credible guy, even though he started crying the other day on that interview. Rodman has redeemed himself, man. He's won a lot of points recently. I think Rodman's got a political career ahead of him. He might even be the running mate with Donald Trump in 2020. Dennis Rodman and Donald Trump for 2020. Or she's really come a long way. You know, her persona. She could be the first woman running mate of Donald Trump with that personal touch. Wow. Yeah, she's really answers a lot of questions too. Not Sarah Huckabee Sanders. So who will be his running mate in 2020? I'm going to guess Pence will be removed from the scenario. But if Trump doesn't resign between now and 2020, Pence will be forced to be our president. And I'm okay with that. I really am. I'm not okay with the fact that he hasn't presented any emails of when he was the governor of Indiana, because I'd like to get to the truth about whether he really was involved in some child trafficking in Indiana, like Tory Smith said. Tory Smith is the guy who's on record talking about this the heinous human trafficking that's going on in the MyLab human trafficking network in Indiana. And he went vocal about it publicly. Tory Smith is the guy who I showed you before ended up dying in a couple months right after he revealed the truth about this stuff. Yeah, it was tragic. He went from a very healthy youngish man here, talking about the murdering of 54 people, kids.
Hello, my name is Tori Smith, and I've been a witness to children who were raped and murdered in what's called the MILAB child trafficking operation. And there are 40 locations nationwide, and there's one here in the Indiana state where I live, and which brings me to today's report. I do reports in this child trafficking operation, number one, because I don't know of anyone else that does. And these children need as many voices as they can possibly get, because hundreds and hundreds of children are abducted, anywhere from 25 to 400 children are gang raped and murdered a day in this system. On the 27th of May, Friday, 264 children were brought in from the Air Force, SOCOM, and NATO. 15 of those children were brought to Indianapolis, to the Indianapolis MILAB, which is what I would like to do today's report on. Indiana Governor, child rapist, and child murderer Mike Pence has murdered 54 children, and which I seem to be the only one in Indiana who cares.
Wow. Oh, yeah, okay, so you probably heard that, right? And then a couple months later, here he was.
My name is Tori, and I want to thank you for the support and prayers and awareness that you brought to what's going on in our country about child trafficking. I think this is going to be my last video for a while. I can barely see. I can only stand up for a few minutes and then I have to lay back down. I can't drive anymore.
That was his last video. He died shortly thereafter. I'm very sorry to say. So it does prove that there is an email in Pence's email box that he won't show anybody. A series of emails from Tori Smith that Pence is refusing to reveal to anybody. That's a serious allegation this man made of Pence, and the fact that he died so rapidly shows possible nefarious actions against him. Well, this young man, or this older man, was involved he was raped as a child. And he himself had knowledge of this network because of that. He doesn't have a secretary. His estate has been closed. But we have his videos in his library on YouTube, which is still open. So we don't know if it was cancer or plutonium or polonium. If it was polonium, it would explain why he died so quickly. Polonium poisoning would take a man down in about 2 months. 2 weeks to 2 months. Depending on how bad the poisoning was. It was arsenic poisoning, arsenic poisoning would take probably 6 to 8 months. It would mimic bladder cancer. Jamie Foxx has been accused in 2002 of penis slapping incident. He denies it and will fight back legally. Claims he did not slap anybody with his penis. Yeah. He says it's an absurd lie. He's going after her legally, he said. The alleged assault happened in Vegas in 2002. According to law enforcement, the accuser told cops last week she and a friend were attending a party at Jamie's place when he tried to get her to perform oral sex. She claims when she refused, Jamie struck her in the face with his penis. The accuser tells us after the alleged assault, one of Jamie's friends told her she had to get out of the house. She claims she went to a hospital the next day when she got back home to LA to get treatment for a severe panic attack. Whoa. Law enforcement officials tell us Vegas PD lists the case as an open investigation. However, the statute of limitations has long since run. It's 3 years in Nevada. Well, I hope they file a police report on it, because if it's an open investigation, they have to have a police report in order for that to stick legally. Well, you know, some people get whacked with penises, and they could be called whack jobs. Yeah, they're trying to build a story at TMZ that Kate Spade was depressed and had, you know, severe bipolar problems and was on meds and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they keep coming up with a cover story for this ridiculous, clearly a murder. Depressed because husband wanted a divorce, right? Sure. I heard the first story was that she was obsessed with Robin Williams. Testing, 1, 2, 3, we have sound. Kate Spade was extremely depressed in her last days of life because her husband wanted a divorce. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ. They had separated, and he was living in a nearby apartment. It makes her suicide note particularly interesting and possibly revealing. She wrote to her 13-year-old daughter, "B, I have always loved you. This is not your fault. Ask Daddy." It's unclear what Kate meant by the words "ask Daddy." One interpretation is that he knows why she ended her life. Well, she reportedly hanged herself in her bedroom with a red scarf, and I don't know, you got to really wonder. See, again, without crime scene photographs of any of these suicidings, I mean any of them, not one, we can't really determine if their bodies are dangling off the hook or not. Because if their feet are on the ground, in most cases, that's murder. Yeah. That's criminology 101. People can be strung up to make it look like a suicide. Oh, yeah. Well, I hope they never do normalize pedoism. But the elitists have this goal that I think the Vatican was kind of shocked when the former Pope Benedict openly said that it was mainstream behavior for men to be having sex with children. Yeah, and then right after that, Benedict was pulled as Pope and now spends his time looking at, you know, whatever in the internet room. Sylvester Stallone's sexual assault case is being reviewed by LA District Attorney. Yeah, David Carradine was investigating human trafficking of children in Bangkok, which is apparently one of the biggest hubs of human trafficking. Okay, Stallone's sexual assault case is being reviewed by LA District Attorney. There it is. The office spokesman Greg Riesling confirmed to Fox that the case was being reviewed, and the Santa Monica Police Department filed the case on Wednesday, but did not give any further details on the alleged crime. Reps for Stallone did not immediately respond for Fox News' request. A report of sexual assault in the 90s was filed to the Department of Santa Monica, and he categorically disputes the claim. He denied another report that claimed that he had inappropriate sexual contact with a woman in 1986, too, when she was 16. Yeah, I mean, he's innocent until proven guilty, so these reports are really old. I mean, Harvey Weinstein's had women say that they've been raped by him going back 7-8 years in Beverly Hills. And the police never did a damn thing about that. So these cases are so old, it's kind of amazing that the police are even looking into it. I mean, they won't even investigate Natalie Wood's death. I mean, they've had every opportunity to open the case against Christopher Walken or Robert Wagner, but they've never done that. Nobody's investigated any of Kurt Cobain's, the allegations that his wife killed him either up in Seattle. So a lot of talk, but no investigations. Our police force, by the way, doesn't do much. Nobody really does a lot at the police force. And they're not really preventing crime either. The reason why we have a police force and a growing number of police is because they're leading us to believe that there's terrorism happening around the world and that we somehow need to build this up. Yeah, they got us all fearful that there's terrorist acts going on, kids with guns. So they want everyone to disarm. That's their primary motive. And to increase the number of police in our country. Now, when we were under the control of Obama, he started really building up the SWAT teams at every local level in America. As a common thing, he would give them way more than they needed in terms of MRAPs, HRAPs, helicopters. Yeah, what about the judge who had his pillow over his face? Yeah, Delvin says, what about, Judge Scalia? Yeah, that's a story that got completely covered up. You know that they pulled Judge Scalia's body out of that place, that Cibola Ranch? They pulled it out within 1 hour and had it embalmed. Tell me that's not the rush to get rid of his blood, to prove that he wasn't killed. And then his body, they say, Judge Scalia's body was laying perfectly flat, like in state. And the sheet was tucked neatly around his body, but yet he died of a heart attack in his sleep. I mean, if you're going to have a heart attack, your body's going to jerk around and not laying in state like that. They killed him. And whoever killed him wanted him out of the way when either Hillary or Donald Trump would become president. At the time, they thought Hillary was going to become president. So getting rid of a conservative judge at that key time was really points fingers at various people, especially people on the DNC side. Yeah. Potential biggest amnesty in U.S. history. Potentially biggest. They're giving amnesty to people. The GOP is. I wouldn't doubt it. They're so lost on the whole UN refugee thing. It's ridiculous. They're keeping good green card holders out of our country because they come from 7 different nations, but they're allowing illegal aliens to come in through the UN resettlement program. A leaked draft of House Speaker Paul Ryan's amnesty deal could lead to the biggest amnesty for illegal aliens in the U.S. history, according to Breitbart. Wow, it's going beyond giving amnesty to only the nearly 800,000 illegal aliens who are enrolled in Obama's DACA program, the Dreamers. According to a leaked draft of the amnesty deal obtained by Breitbart, Ryan's plan would allow the entire DACA population to be eligible for amnesty so long as they meet low educational work and criminal requirements, prompting the amnesty to explode in size. Yeah, it'll reach close to 3 to 4 million. 3.5 million DACA enrolled eligible illegal aliens. Wow. And this is coming from the Republicans. Well, I hope Trump get much more vocal against this, because that would be good. I certainly hope he steps up, because, following me on my issues, I'm the guy who came up with the 1,000-mile fence idea. Trump stole that. I'm tough on illegals, but I never would have gone door to door to deport them in the U.S. That's destabilizing our economy, actually. Very stupid move Trump is engaged in, using ICE to go door to door right now. Illegals will actually leave on their own if they don't have a job, or if they don't have decent housing or fair housing. They'll leave. I know illegals are a huge problem, but if they can't find work and we prosecute the employers and make sure that they feel the sting, where they have to have other family members run their businesses, oh yeah, believe me, there won't be a lot of illegals hired in America. But I mean, the way he's going about it is really aggressive. It almost reminds me of the Nazis and door to door with all of the ethnic minorities. Thai space program is up and running. Wow, here we go. Wow. That was hilarious. They are very hardworking people. And, congratulations. They are onto something. This corkscrewing through the atmosphere, it really does have a lot of promise. That's how alien space vehicles can travel through space, I believe, corkscrewing through the atmosphere. It's a successful mission. Yeah, it was quite amazing. Yeah, I think they're onto something. Good work, Thai. Thai space program is up and running. Well, whatever. People make much better use of their country than we do our country. You look at most of the land wasted in America, it's ridiculous. All we need is more water, and all the land in our country would be much more populated. We could easily adopt a housing solution around a water pipeline. Instead, you know, young people are turning to lower costs of living in smaller areas, like this bachelor pad on wheels. Many people are thinking of designing their own home because as a snowflake generation, it is the youngest country in the world, but we haven't accomplished with our land enough. That's my point. I'm not saying we're cheating and stealing. No, you are. This is a humble approach to living, and I think tonight I'll be featuring some tiny houses for some of you snowflakes that want to live in a tiny house. I want to make it available for all of you millennials and snowflakes to live in a tiny house without any restrictions by your state government. So I will put a mandatory moratorium on anybody's telling you where your septic system has to be or what your septic system is. We'll monitor health and safety, but not to interrupt the ability of you to actually have a home. You keep your tiny house and live with it in peace as God intended you to. Praise you. Bless you all.
Yeah, well, the problem is you've been listening to Alex Jones every night, claiming that tiny houses are part of the New World Order agenda. But what you're not listening is that Alex Jones is working for them, trying to keep you from having your own house out in the middle of nowhere. Now, he's saying that people are living in apartment structures that are close together, and that's how they're controlled. But I'm talking about people living in areas spidered far and far wide, all around the prairie. And by the way, have you checked out the Vitality Packet and Vitamin Center, the minerals that you need to survive the upcoming apocalypse?
They're paving the road by my house and hauling off all the cars without warning, I was told. Well, that's what they do when they pave roads, dude.
All right, well, today is June the 12th, 2018, and right now at 11:20 p.m., we have a temperature of 67 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 53%. The dew point is 49 degrees, and the barometer is reading 29.89 inches.
All right. This is One Pacific Redwood, and he's talking about a Hurricane Bud targeted and superheated. Now it's at Cat 1 status and moving northward. Yeah, they're working on a hurricane scenario, which he tracks every day in Doppler radar. So One Pacific Redwood has a very keen mind. David, you do the best Alex Jones. Will you marry me? No. So we're going to bring in the One Pacific Redwood's assessment of the geoengineering that's going on above Los Angeles, creating even more of a drought. Did Sarah talk to you about baklava? Baklava. It is Greek food for dessert, yes. I don't want to make baklava. It is much too fattening. It is way too fattening, man. The butter content in baklava is through the roof. You might as well just stick the butter right in your arteries and go, oh, cause plaque, please. You know, come on.
Now, many of you are probably concerned that your tiny house will be part of the New World Order Agenda 2030.
See, I'm working against Alex Jones, who's alienating you from independence. I want you to have a place out of the prairie with you and your lovely transgender whatever, or wife, in the case of you heterosexuals. God love you. God love you all. Illegals are lazy and abandon their own home. That's Hispanic. You know, that's a generalization about anybody from another country. Yeah, anybody who left their country to come to America, could be Norwegian, could be lazy and abandoning their home country. I mean, come on. Stop picking on Hispanics, okay? I was just down in Los Angeles, man. And everyone is very nice. I had a lot of people talking to me, like a lot of love, man. I felt like I was in the hood, vato. CBS News. What do we have here? Okay. What Trump isn't doing anything. He's just taking orders on his private cell phone from Putin. Vladdy, what do I do now? It went real well, just like you said it would with Kim Jong-un. Oh, yes. It was very nice. Yes, incredible. You're not going to show the sex tape, are you? Oh, good. Woman's racist tirade against Asian nail salon owner caught on video. Uh-oh. We're about ready to see something really, really intense.
If they don't understand the language, they should go back to their own door.
Oh, no,
Period.
no, nobody can say that. Nobody can say
Yes,
that.
I can.
Oh.
I learned it pretty easy when I was a little girl.
Okay, so that little bit too
And if
much.
he can't explain something you're charging
Yes,
for,
yes.
then yeah, there's a
Yes,
problem.
yes, ask the bounce quality for that. Don't worry. I can.
Who all agrees with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Like, if you get a service done, I mean, should you be able to understand who's doing it?
This woman was caught telling her truth, and she's now being accosted for being a racist, because that's how she feels. People should be able to speak their own language in their home country. Wow. That's exactly how people in France feel. If you go to France and you do not speak French, you are considered beneath the human race. I don't blame all of these people for being upset. It doesn't mean she doesn't have a right to speak her mind. And I'm telling you, there are a lot of racist people out there who don't like white people. So let's be fair. You can't limit what people say. Well, I'm glad the news story went viral. But we've got other more important pressing news. We have a woman who's testing whether they defend owners during home invasions tonight. There's an Inside Edition is going to have a little 20 million hits. Wow, that'll be good. I've got a couple things I haven't gone over. That strange video from the hijacking of 1995, listing the names of people that died. That's just strange. And the Libyan photos go viral. That's a good one. About how Libya has changed over the past 20, 15 years. Libya has become like a war zone. Everything about Libya has fallen apart ever since that whole thing went down. And then we got Joe Biden being confronted by a bunch of people publicly about that tape of him talking about a 13-year-old girl. Chemtrails over waters makes me happy. And Joe Biden, of course, can't explain pictures like this. It's just like, what are you doing, Joe? Do you realize how that invades a child's space? Can you imagine being a kid looking up and seeing some old guy nearly French kiss you? I mean, that is disgusting. Look at this. God, and he wants to run for president? What a freakazoid. I'll put that in the library. Oh, yeah. Well, there we go. Look at the colleges. They won't let any conservative speak. I know, the Marxist colleges. I was conservative enough to walk out of there and say, get the hell out of Dodge. Colleges are brainwashing centers. They control your mind and make you think according to their process. They turn you into a mumbling idiot in a corporate job who stands there at the water tower going, "Oh, what are you doing tonight? Oh, sorry to bother you. Hi, what are you doing tonight after? Oh, sorry to bother you." Yeah. Biden kiss. What a freak. I just cannot believe it. Yeah, we still don't know what happened with this missile, what appears to be a missile. I think what's going on is everyone's confusing this picture right here. Yeah, I think this needs some explanation here. People are confusing this picture with this picture. Okay? That is not a missile. That's a directed energy beam pointing right at my house, or right near where my area is. Couldn't be my house, could be anything. But yeah, this isn't the picture here. That is a make-believe story. That's a picture that's been in archive footage. That clearly shows a missile. But you see, it's confusing because is this a secret missile launch? No, it's not. This is clearly what happened because this doesn't appear to be it appears to be some sort of a directed energy beam of light going straight down onto, well, that's where my house is, right there. Yeah, I mean, in that line from that angle at Kitsap County. So I don't know. A lot of houses between here and there, not just mine. So it could be anybody. But isn't that weird? You know what I do? I would offer people freedom to come into the country. Why not? Unless they're not criminals, of course. Oh, so you just want to open your borders and let anybody come in the country without any preparation or training whatsoever? We got a hot one here, man. We got a real Democrat hanging out in our show. Yeah, 938. You're an idiot. Exactly. 3 military planes of drones in formation spraying chemicals with British Airways assistance.
Mixing her up today.
Mike Decker is going to show us
Double
more.
the single to... So ridiculous.
Wow.
Holy shit, we got a 3-pack going. What the hell is it? This must be military because they aren't on radar.
Jeez,
if I can get them. 1, 2, 3. Mixing her up today. Looks like somebody just snuck through the... Oh no, never mind. That was British Airways. Yeah, we got a threesome going there. Hey.
Okay, we got the threesome going there. Right on. You are not racist? Okay, well, that's fine. You don't have to be racist. You could be a reverse racist, like a person who hates white people. Here's a guy, crackhead, about to get tased by police at a Houston car wash.
What you mean? What?
I think he's wiping his butt on the pavement. Yes. I'm sorry to say, but it was unfortunately necessary. So really, really bad news today for Mr. Robinson. Tommy Robinson has been put into a full top security prison, which has 75% of them are Muslim. So this man who's openly anti-Muslim is purposely being put into a top security prison, which is mostly Muslim people in Britain. This is a travesty of justice, an unparalleled proportion, and in no way would I be able to visit the United Kingdom in lieu of the atrocities they're committing right now. So we'll be removing the United Kingdom from my locations of visiting. Unlike Trump, I don't want to spend time at the embassy there. Yeah, that's just ridiculous. And this story, I didn't talk about it earlier because it's a sensitive subject, and being we have a president who's, they're alleging, has all kinds of connections to escort services. Dennis Hoff, Nevada's most famous pimp, wins the GOP primary, folks. Yep. Nevada's most famous pimp has won the GOP primary. That's right. Owner of a half dozen illegal brothels in Nevada and star of the HBO adult reality series Cat House. He won the Republican primary for state legislature. Yep. He's going on to face Democrat Lezia Romanoff in November. Lezia. Hey, Lezia. What's going on? So it's Lezia versus the pimp. in the upcoming Nevada runoff. Wow. Amazing. Hey, we got another abandoned story here. Thanks. Scissor Fight found everything left behind is abandoned. Look at this. A house that's abandoned. Wow, this is wild. We'll be taking a look at that. Take a look at that, yes. You can tell I've been doing the show too long tonight. I'm starting to get a little giddy. Yeah. Reaching the edge. Okay, I'll add that to the lineup. Thank you, Scissor Fight. All right, to recap, we've got Navarro has apologized for a special place in hell comments about Trudeau, but it doesn't erase the trade war that Donald Trump has created with our allies while embracing the hand of a mass murderer overseas, acting like this is a big step for our country. So his own employees have apologized, which is rare, to see one of the Republicans under Trump's administration apologize, but he has apologized about calling Trudeau a special place in hell. He said it was out of line, basically. So that's good to know. This story was viral yesterday. I'll repeat it. It is Bill Clinton admitting to the nation that, let him speak for himself.
Do you think that's a good thing?
Well, in general, I think it's a good thing, yes. I think it's a good thing that we should all have higher standards. I think the norms have really changed in terms of what you can do to somebody against their will, what you can do to somebody against their will.
Okay, yeah. If that isn't an admission of some terrible deeds, I don't know what is. Yeah, apparently a lot has changed for Bill. Yeah, it's starting to rain down on him. I think if the Clinton Foundation is exposed, which so far they haven't under Trump because he's pretty much controlled by the deep state, I think that if we do look at Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and their actions with the $5.4 billion the Clinton Foundation got for Haitian support, we're going to find all kinds of nefarious activities. If we uncover human trafficking, it wouldn't surprise me. But that's something I promise you we will be on, an investigation into the Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton activities over the past few decades. We can't just let that go. And of course, we'll be investigating Mike Pence and the fact that he has not presented.
And I know there's probably more people who do care. The Indianapolis Municipal Police Department and the Indiana State Police are very heavily involved in this child trafficking operation. 51 officers and 18 troopers.
He's claiming the Indiana State Police, 51 officers and 18 troopers are involved in child trafficking. Very crazy claim, but the guy died right after that was made, so that's strange. I need to investigate that, of course. But all of these things are open for investigation once I become president. Now, we haven't had a good president for a long time. And I would love to be able to, fill the shoes of some of the men that have tried to help our country. My favorite president of all times was John F. Kennedy. But Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln, they were pretty amazing people, I'll tell you. We wouldn't even be a country if we hadn't had built on some of the solvency that those men created. But even Abraham Lincoln borrowed money just to finance this country because we were so much in disrepair right after the Civil War. But Andrew Jackson wasn't a borrower. He wanted to get our country back to solvency. So that's really at the heart of Wasteful Wednesday. Now, I didn't talk a lot about how we want to reduce the cost of our government, but I will tell you this. getting rid of a lot of the upper management is really necessary. So if Donald Trump wants to start the process of getting rid of upper management in our country, just like any corporation, feel free to get started, because we have to trim the budget. There's no way around it. And since he's stealing my ideas on a daily basis, go for it. You know, do the things you need to do to get the country running, Donald, before you finally resign, because you will have to resign when the truth comes out about how Russia helped you become president. Unfortunately for him, he's not going to be able to escape what's coming. I don't care if he reaches over and does a reach around for Kim Jong-un. It's not going to make a difference. We are still looking at a country that's been contaminated by Russian involvement and need to separate from some of the entanglement that the two-party system has put us in with these interlopers taking over our country's internal dynamics. That's it for me. I will be in the show till about 2 in the morning when I close down the show. And Obama's looking at developing his own plan for the 2020 election. I'm sure Michelle is on the list. If he ran as best man, a lot of Democrats would like that ticket. So we're going to be outing the Michelle group as time goes on and showing what's really happening. Michelle is, of course, a transgender, and no one seems to realize that around the world. We'll keep exposing that as time goes on. All right. That's it for me. Thank you for coming in. It's been a pleasure. I will follow with the motto of our show, which we will play at the very end, which is "Can't stop," and we won't stop. But I'm stopping the recording right now. Otherwise, they'll monetize that song, even though it was Scissor Fight's original song they gave to us. That's just the way it is in a country that's censored and hardly democratic. Take care, everyone. We'll see you again tomorrow for Technology Thursday. I didn't really talk about what I'll be making, so it'll be a surprise at 5 o'clock. Take care. Bye-bye.
We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop.